Vikings preseason football is presented by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Minnesota Vikings. By Verizon. Now watch local Sunday NFL games live on your smartphone with NFL Mobile, exclusively from Verizon. By the Minnesota State Fair. Don't miss the great Minnesota get-together, August 21st through Labor Day. By NFL Ticket Exchange, powered by Ticketmaster. Buy and sell tickets at NFLTicketExchange.com.
The Vikings and Oakland Raiders are set to do battle in the first preseason game of the 2014 season. For more on that, let's go to the sidelines and former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Ben Lieber.
Well, guys, it's no secret. If you want a great defense, you have to stop the run. An area where the Vikings have really fallen short the last couple years. So what they do in the offseason, they go out and get head coach Mike Zimmer. Defensive philosophy of stopping the run, a stout defensive line. The first free agent signing, Linval Joseph, the prototypical run stuffer. He'll have a chance tonight to figure out if he's the guy and the key cog to this defense. And for more on the Vikings, here's Greg Coleman.
Thanks, Ben. You know, everybody knows that Adrian Peterson is going to carry the bulk of the mail. But with Toby Gerhart gone, who's going to be that all-important backup? A lot of eyes have turned to third-round pick Jerick McKinnon, number 31. His speed, his versatility, and pass-catching ability out of the backfield make him one to watch. Guys, Paul, PA, back to you.
All righty, Greg. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Keys to the first preseason game, Vikings and Oakland Raiders.
Well, Paul, when you talk about a preseason game, number one, you want to play fast. If you make a mistake, you want to make it 100 miles an hour. There is no excuse for not giving all total effort. And be where you need to be. These guys aren't going to be overloaded with a game plan. They're not going to have to think too much. It's going to be on them to be where they're supposed to be, line up where they're supposed to line up. And again, later on, when you have substitution, if you're the number 3 kickoff return guy, number 3 return teams out there, you got to be out there.
The keys to the game are presented by Ram. The new Ram 1500 is the 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. The first back-to-back champion. Visit ramtrucks.com for more details. The Oakland Raiders will receive the opening kickoff. Blair Walsh in his 3rd season from Georgia. He will kick it left to right as we see it. Vikings wearing their purple uniforms with white pants, trimmed in purple and gold. Raiders with the silver pants, white jerseys, and black numbers. Boom! The preseason is underway, and the kick from Blair Walsh goes 2 yards deep in the end zone. And taking it out for the Oakland Raiders is Latavius Murray, and he is stopped at about the 21-yard line following a return of 22 yards. Larry Dean, along with rookie Jabari Price, and Gerald Hodges wore 54 last year. He wears 50 this year. He was part of the special teams mix. The Vikings starting offense and defense is expected to play a majority of the first quarter. The Vikings defense is led by veteran Chad Greenway, wears number 52. Chad Greenway in his 9th year from Iowa, part of a 4-3 base. Chad has led the Minnesota Vikings in tackles 6 consecutive years. That ties Scott Studwell for most consecutive seasons, leading a team in tackles.
Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Gene Steratore, the referee here at TCF Bank Stadium. Welcome, Vikings and Raiders. Chad Greenway's led the Vikings in tackles 6 consecutive years. He had a November 2011 game against the Oakland Raiders with 22 tackles. That's second most in team history behind Scott Studwell. Matt Schaub's at quarterback for the Oakland Raiders. First year wearing the silver and black. The Raiders traded a 5th for Matt Schaub, the former Texan. He has a single set. Receivers left and right. Schaub goes on a 5-step drop. He'll whip it out to the right side. Nearly intercepted on the first play of the game. Nearly intercepted by Captain Munnerlyn. One of the new Vikings picked up this offseason via free agency. The splashiest two, Pete, I would say, would be Linval Joseph and this guy, 24, Captain Munnerlyn.
Now we're used to corners that are not all that tall, and they're going to test him right away, one-on-one on the outside with Mike Davis, a 6-foot wide receiver. But notice Captain Munnerlyn's position. Perfect body position, forcing the receiver out to the outside, body in between, gets in there and breaks up that throw. Great play.
On 2nd and 15, Matt Schaub, 11th year from Virginia, swings it out left, and it's caught by Maurice Jones-Drew. The former Jaguar turns it up just inside the numbers across the 20-yard line, and he's tackled by Chad Greenway after a scamper of about 7 yards. The Oakland Raiders were very aggressive this offseason in free agency, signing the likes of Maurice Jones-Drew, former Green Bay Packers receiver James Jones. Defensively, they moved on Antonio Smith from Houston. They also brought in Carlos Rogers, part of the San Francisco 49ers, and they drafted outstanding linebacker Khalil Mack. We'll see him when the Raiders play defense. It's third down, 3rd and 9, first preseason game. 3rd and 9 from the Raiders 21. Matt Schaub with 3 receivers right and 1 left. Back to pass. Looks for a back shoulder pop left side. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Andre Holmes, spent some time a few years ago with the Minnesota Vikings on the practice squad, and Harrison Smith was on the coverage.
You're wondering how long before this blitz package would start up. You see Harrison Smith coming off the edge. What you don't see in that frame is Brian Robinson dropping out into coverage. So the quarterback seeing that, nobody wide open, didn't get the look that he thought he was gonna, threw it away. So great execution by the Viking defense.
Adam Thielen to return this punt. Detroit Lakes Adam Thielen, also from the University of Minnesota at Mankato. There's the punt. Thielen floats right, fields it at the 27, stopped at the 28-yard line. 53-yard punt by Marquette King, a third-year punter from Fort Valley State. So the Vikings defense, led by head coach Mike Zimmer and new defensive coordinator George Edwards, they stop the Oakland Raiders and get decent field position to begin the first offensive possession of the night. Welcome to TCF Bank Stadium. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman. We are a simulcast on KARE 11 and FM 100.3 The Fan. 13:55 to go in the first quarter. We have no score. Matt Castle at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson will not play this evening. It has nothing to do with injury. They're just being cautious with the best back in the game. 3 receivers left. Castle out of the shotgun, 1st and 10 from his own 30. The tailback's Matt Asiata, and Castle whips it left, caught. Cordero Patterson at the 47-yard line. Cordero Patterson hauls that one in on Terrell Brown, a free agent cornerback for the Oakland Raiders. It's a hit of 17 yards.
Well, we all know what Cordero Patterson can do on special teams, and this is where he's going to have to improve. A nice deep in route. Matt Castle keeps it on the hip away from the corner, so a great throw and a great catch by Cordero Patterson.
The new Vikings offensive coordinator is Norv Turner. It behooves us to chat about him shortly. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Castle under center, 1st and 10, toss left. Matt Asiata turns it up in front of his bench at the 45, and he's taken down at about the 50-yard line. A run of 3 by Matt Asiata, and he's tackled by Lamar Woodley, another offseason free agent acquisition for the Oakland Raiders. Norv Turner, 40-year coach. Norv Turner, 2-time Super Bowl winner as an offensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, also former head coach with Washington, these Raiders, and the San Diego Chargers. How can he help?
Well, he has a storied past. He's very calculated. You're going to see a lot more shifts and motions out of this offense, and look for him to use all the running backs during the season.
2nd and 7 from the 50. Castle out of the shotgun, split backfield. One of them's Felton. Castle back to pass, whips it outright, incomplete. Greg Jennings, the intended receiver, on 2nd and 7. And that'll make it 3rd and 7, just underway from the campus of the University of Minnesota. We have no score. The offensive starters are expected to play 20 plays this evening. Once again, Adrian Peterson, completely healthy, not suiting up for this game. Not sure he'll get any carries in the preseason. Adrian Peterson has not had a carry in the preseason since 2011. Cordero Patterson splits out left. Couple of receivers to the right. Castle, with his first 3rd down of the preseason, puts Kyle Rudolph in motion. John Sullivan snaps the ball to Matt Castle. Short drop. Looks left, passes left, and it's caught for a Vikings first down. 2 receptions for Cordero Patterson. That one goes for a Vikings first down on Terrell Brown, and it's a gain of 8 yards. Cordero Patterson, what a finish to the season he had last year. In his final 5 games, he had 6 touchdowns, 3 receiving, 3 via the run. In his first 12 games, Pete, only 1 via receiving or run.
Man, that's exactly what he needs to get better at. A tight one-on-one coverage by Terrell Brown. And you see, again, Castle with the great placement of the ball. Cordero Patterson reaching back, one-arm grab. So it's great to see him be so involved in the passing game early.
2 catches, 25 yards for Patterson as Matt Castle goes on a deep drop, play action, hit from his front side, and he is sacked. Pat Sims, 7th year from Auburn, caught Matt Castle for a sack. And for the Vikings, down goes the quarterback in his 10th year from Southern California, loss of 5. 2nd and 15, sack, Oakland Raiders.
Now you had a little bit of a play action protection, and the rush actually came from up the middle, John Sullivan letting the defensive lineman get around him and get to the quarterback. So again, these protections are new, these actions are new, and these guys, they look that way a little bit right now.
2nd and 15, 2 receivers right, Patterson left. The handoff goes to Matt Asiata out of the shotgun, gets some room up the middle, shakes on Charles Woodson at the 40, and Asiata's taken down at the 37. I know he scored 3 touchdowns against the Eagles last year, but save that play. He just shook on a Hall of Famer named Charles Woodson.
Now, one of the things that Norv Turner, when we talked to him about the running back position, is Matt Asiata was one of his favorites. He loves the fact that he started as a tailback. Yeah, we gave him some shots at fullback, but he mentioned how smart he is, how he runs. He's able to keep his shoulders square and get downhill, and he can read those blocks up front because this is kind of a man blocking scheme.
3rd and 6, first Vikings offensive possession of the preseason. The team's 1 of 1 on 3rd down. Castle back to pass, faces the blitz, dump right, caught. Greg Jennings at the 30, turns it up to the 25, and he's taken down. A 13-yard connection, Castle to Jennings, and a first down for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, the Raiders showed up playing man-to-man on that key down, and you're going to see Jennings just take Carlos Rogers and run that pick. So a nice rub with Rudolph, and then Jennings coming right off the outside. So the Viking receivers, they saw that man-to-man. They had the exact correct route to beat man-to-man. Nice play, well executed.
Offensive line for the Vikings, left to right, Matt Khalil, Charlie Johnson, John Sullivan, Brandon Fusco in the behemoth. Phil Lodeholt, first down, 1st and 10 from the Raiders 25. No score in the first quarter. Castle under center, looks to swing it out left. It was risky, but it was caught by Asiata at the 30. Turns it up far side of the field, hit at the 25, taken down at the 23. It's a gain of 2. It's 2nd and 8, and Terrell Brown in his 8th year from Texas on the tackle. 9.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Vikings defense forced Oakland to punt after a 3-and-out. Captain Munnerlyn nearly had an interception. Harrison Smith came on a very, very effective blitz, and a Vikings possession that began at its 30 now has its 2nd and 8 from the Raiders 23. Cordero Patterson, 2 receptions, 25 yards. He split right. He'll have company in the shape of Red Ellison. Greg Jennings left. Castle goes back to pass. He's looking left. He'll swing it left. Caught. Rudolph. 5. Touchdown! No, they say he was out at the 1. Listen to the crowd. Let the refs have it. 22-yard reception. 1st and goal or touchdown. It doesn't matter. The Vikings offense is starting the preseason splendidly.
And that was the first play that we hadn't seen Rudolph run or move before the snap, but you see Jennings clear the zone. Rudolph runs a corner. They call that a scissors route.
Oh!
And his foot hit the ground before he could get that ball over the pylon. So what a great effort. You want to see more Rudolph. We'd love to see him as a threat inside of the red zone. And that gives you some vision there of how he's lost some weight and how he's looking as an athlete.
1st and goal inside the 1. Rudolph's misfortune may be Matt Asiata's benefit. Gets the call up the middle. Touchdown Vikings! A 1-yard plunge by Matt Asiata. And the TCF Bank crowd is loving its Minnesota Vikings, leading the Oakland Raiders 6-0.
I think most importantly, Paul, it was a long drive, a well-put-together drive, and you see Matt Asiata on this play. Watch that line of scrimmage move as those offensive linemen, Phil Lodeholt there, clearing the way for Matt Asiata to come in there. So now we're going to get to take a look at the extra point from the 15-yard line.
Yep, it's a 33-yard try for the first 2 preseason games. Snapped by Loeffler, put down by Locke, and banged through by Blair Walsh. The Minnesota Vikings marched 70 yards, almost got in with Kyle Rudolph, but finished it off with Matt Asiata, and in the first quarter take a 7-0 lead over the Raiders. Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 7-0 Vikings. Tonight's American Family Insurance impact player is Cordero Patterson.
Now you look at his production last year, 10.4 yards per reception. Even more impressive is 13.2 yards per attempt. He just had more juice in the tank last year. His key this year is to operate and run routes, be part of this offense. We saw a catch in man-to-man, great one-handed catch, and a nice dig reception. He looks fantastic.
2 catches, 25 yards for the second-year guy from Tennessee. Bang, Blair Walsh. knocks it out of the easternmost end zone. The impact player was presented by American Family Insurance, helping you protect your dreams. The Vikings lead the Raiders 7-0. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Ball on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Kick off the 2014 season and run through the Vikings training facility at the TCO Vikings 5K Run September 7th. Presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics. To register, go to Vikings.com/run. Minnesota went on a 10-play, 70-yard drive, took 5.5 minutes. Matt Asiata with a 1-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings lead the Oakland Raiders 7-0. Matt Castle, 5 of 6, 62 yards. Here come the Oakland Raiders, trailing by 7, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Matt Schaub still the quarterback, high formation. Handoff, Maurice Jones-Drew runs around the right side, right by Brian Robinson. Turns it up to the 25-yard line, and he's tackled at the 27, a gain of 7 by Maurice Jones-Drew. Penalty flag. Second penalty of the game. First was an illegal procedure penalty on the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders were last year in the AFC West.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 87. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
That's a face mask on Brian Leonhardt, who's a local kid, played high school at Spring Lake Park and collegiately played at Bemidji State. The local kids all wound up.
You don't see this too often, and yeah, he had a handful of Brian Robinson's face mask. And that's what happens when you get those hands up high. You have to keep them on the shoulders of the defensive end. So you're right, Paul. You get this first preseason game. A lot of these guys, especially if you're coming back home for it, you get a little fired up. But more of a technique error on his part.
Matt Schaub, 1 of 3, 6 yards. 1st and 10. Check that. First down from the 12-yard line. It's 1st and about 20. The handoff goes to Maurice Jones-Drew. Tries the right side. Hit by Captain Munnerlyn. The feisty Captain Munnerlyn, formerly of the Carolina Panthers, finishes off the equally diminutive Maurice Jones-Drew after a gain of 3 yards. It'll be second down, 2nd and 15.
Well, you know, Captain Munnerlyn, he may be slight in size, but he's not afraid to get up in there. As we'll see him come off the edge, turn it back inside. More importantly, Jasper Brinkley seeing the guard pull, getting over the top. The defense is flowing to the football, wrapping things up, not letting the running backs bounce it outside. So emphasis on gap control and protection. It's gone real well.
Schaub, shotgun, trips left. Vikings in their base 4-3. Schaub swings it out right. Caught Maurice Jones-Drew. Shakes on Captain Munnerlyn at the 20. Turns it up. Hit and knocked out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by Kurt Coleman, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. A new safety for the Vikings, gain of 8. But the Vikings have some injury issues at safety. Robert Blanton, hamstring, not in uniform. One of his backups, Jamarcus Sanford, also out. Big opportunity for somebody like Kurt Coleman, maybe new guy Chris Crocker.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. One guy's misfortune is another man's opportunity, and at safety, we have a lot of openings. Now you see the Vikings defense, a lot of guys on the line of scrimmage. They're showing a blitz look here.
Harrison Smith, Chad Greenway, Captain Munnerlyn, all up by the line. Smith to the left of Robinson, he drops back. Schaub on 3rd down, back to pass, whips it over the middle, incomplete. Chad Greenway dropped in coverage and covered up the tight end beautifully. That tight end for the Oakland Raiders was Michael Rivera, second year from Tennessee. 2 consecutive possessions and 2 consecutive punts for the Oakland Raiders. Mike Zimmer, formerly the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, has to be happy at the way this defense has started.
Absolutely, and they've given the Raiders a lot of these high-tech looks, a lot of different looks, and you see, as you saw, Greenway man-to-man down the field, didn't look back at the quarterback, great fundamentals.
Marquette Kings kick to Adam Thielen, and the former Maverick fields it at the 20, heads up the middle, now he goes to the left to the 30, 35, 40, hit at the 40, and falls ahead to the 46. Adam Thielen, wide receiver from Detroit Lakes, with a nice return. First quarter from TCF Bank Stadium, 7-0 Vikings on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Vikings 7, Raiders 0 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Adam Thielen is wired for sound this evening. Let's listen.
Let's go, baby. Have some fun today, man. Hey, no different than practice. Have fun and play football.
I'm going to line you up now, all right? I'm going to be with you. We're going to go out 48 yards, but I'll tell you what yard line. Just be over the ball. All right? On the return stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
or exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, visit Vikings.com, your source for everything purple. Let the Teddy Bridgewater era begin. He's in at quarterback. Vikings lead 7-0. Jerick McKinnon is the tailback. Flag on the play. Bridgewater play action. Rolls right. Fires. Caught. First down at the 32-yard line. Bridgewater to Greg Jennings. Flag on the play initially. Asiata was out. Rookie Jerick McKinnon was in. Unofficially a 21-yard hit. Bridgewater sold the play action. The rookie from Louisville. 32nd overall pick.
Illegal formation. Offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage without setting. 5 penalty. Replay. First down.
Well, the play doesn't count, but he sure sold it beautifully, didn't he?
Oh, he really did. And that's the type of thing. The paying attention to detail can take away a great play when something like that happens. The Teddy Bridgewater, we know what he's about. We know his athleticism. He's getting to see him roll around on the outside, and that's what offensive coordinators will do. They'll get that quarterback, a young quarterback, out on the edge. It basically cuts the field in half, so he can either make a play with his legs or just have to read half the field.
And he's playing with the starting offense. First offensive line, Patterson, Jennings, Red Ellison, Kyle Rudolph. Jerick McKinnon is the tailback as Bridgewater hears the chance of Teddy. Goes back to pass, makes a man miss, dumps out of bounds, incomplete. Flag comes in late. Flag late from the Raiders sidelines. Right before Sullivan snapped the ball to Teddy Bridgewater. Did you hear it? Teddy. All Matt Castle did on the first drive of the preseason, by the way, was lead the team 70 yards to a touchdown.
Now you're looking at an eligible receiver down the field, and it's never a surprise when the linesman or the side judge to the opposition's bench is the one that picked it out.
Man downfield on the offense.
What's going on?
74. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Well, you know the Raiders.
What does the offensive line have against Teddy? 2 offensive line penalties. I know Castle went 70 yards for a touchdown, but come on, it's Teddy.
Well, that's Teddy making plays with his legs. And the offense has to learn that, and the line will eventually learn that a play is never over when you have a guy like that at quarterback. He can make things happen.
6'2", 210 from Miami, Florida, played at Louisville. Movement up front, more flags. It's the preseason. If this is on the Vikings offensive line, Teddy Bridgewater may cry conspiracy.
No, it'll be on the Raiders defensive line. They got into the neutral zone, and the right guard for the Vikings moved, so nice heads-up play.
Neutral zone infraction.
Okay.
Defense. Number 90, White, was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
We have a Viking defender heading to the locker room. Here's Ben Lieber.
Right here getting evaluated by the doctors. Eric Sugarman, the head athletic trainer as well. They all kind of just nodded, gave each other a look, took him back to the locker room for an apparent head injury. It doesn't look too serious, but we don't know if he's going to return this game.
That name, in case you missed it, was Mr. L. Raymond. Teddy Bridgewater with his NFL debut, first preseason game in a 7-0 lead. He'll hand the ball off to the tailback, the speedy third-round pick from Georgia Southern, Jerick McKinnon. Right side across the 50 to the Raiders' 46, sprint of 7. And he's taken down by Nick Roach in his 8th year from Northwestern. Teddy Bridgewater stands 6'2", 210 pounds. He's only the 4th quarterback the Vikings have drafted in the first round in franchise history. Posted a 27-9 record as a starter at Louisville, starting his final 38 games. He also earned his bachelor's degree in December of 2013, majoring in sports administration. 3rd and 3 for the Vikings, leading by 7 in the first quarter from the Raiders' 47. Teddy Bridgewater out of the shotgun. He'll dump over the middle to Jerome Simpson, incomplete. Jerome coming on a cross. The Raiders blitzed Bridgewater. Flag on the play. Pass interference. Raiders. If the autumn wind is a Raider.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 23. Automatic. First down.
If the autumn wind is a Raider, this summer night is a Bridgewater.
Well, Teddy doing a nice job hanging in there during the blitz, some line games up front, but man-to-man across the board, and Cordero Patterson is obviously interfered with by Terrell Brown. So Terrell Brown kind of having a rough time covering Cordero Patterson man-to-man anywhere on the field, and that's what you like to see. You like to see a receiver putting stress on a cornerback, making the guy be an athlete.
Bridgewater takes the snap, gives it to Jerick McKinnon after faking a pass left. Jerick runs to the left across the 40, following the blocking of a pulling right guard Brandon Fusco, left guard Charlie Johnson, and center John Sullivan is taken down after a gain of 4 yards at 2nd and 6. Bridgewater played 3 years at Louisville. Last year, 31 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Pete, he threw the ball 427 times last year and only had 4 picks.
Well, that's important, and we'll see if that translates into the NFL. That means being a good decision maker and not trying to force anything when it's not there, and that's what you need to be in the NFL.
Completed 71% of his passes. Bridgewater under center, toss left to Jerick McKinnon, shakes a tackle at the 40, bam, blasted it at the 37-yard line, and he was hit and taken down violently by Justin Tuck in his 10th year from Notre Dame. Justin Tuck won multiple Super Bowls with the New York Giants. 4:15 and counting to go in the first quarter. Matt Castle led the Minnesota Vikings on a 10-play, 70-yard drive. Took 5.5 minutes. Matt Asiata capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. There's Norv Turner.
You see Norv up in the booth, and that's one of the things he likes about being up there is that he can see. He doesn't have to rely on anything. He gets a better feel for the game up there. He just needs to have somebody on the sidelines he can trust.
3rd and 4 from the 36. Bridgewater shotgun, gives it to McKinnon. Weaves his way to a Vikings first down, bumps it out to the left of the 30. Stiff arm at the 25, out of bounds. At the 23-yard line, first down. Needed 4. McKinnon ran for 12.
Well, we're 2 series into this drive, and I've seen more offensive linemen pull than I saw, I think, almost all last year. Now, Jerick McKinnon, Paul, I think has a tremendous opportunity this year, and that is to fill that void on 3rd down. And talking to Norv Turner, what surprised me wasn't Norv not talking about how he's a good athlete, how he's this. He mentioned his intelligence, and he mentioned his toughness, and he mentioned his work ethic. And I think there's a spot for a running back on this team to be the 3rd down pass protecting, pass receiving. And with a guy like Darren Sproles in the past for Norv Turner, this kid might fill that void.
McKinnon, 3rd-round pick for the Vikings, 96th overall. More on Jerick and the offense. Timeout on the field. Vikes 7, Raiders 0. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Teddy Bridgewater's in the game on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Tonight's player spotlight presented by Chrysler, the best running back in the NFL. He's Adrian Peterson.
Now, and he's not playing today not because of injury, but because he's the 2012 MVP, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 10,000 career rush yards, Paul. And I remember when he was drafted, it was the first year when I started sitting in the booth, getting a chance to see every play that man has made. It's been fabulous. Let's just hope he starts the season this year like he did last year.
First down Vikings. Bridgewater shotgun. Dump right. Caught Cordero Patterson near side. 20 inside the 15. Now he's pushed out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. 3 receptions for Cordero Patterson. 3 receptions for 38 yards. 1st and 10 Vikings. By the way, that player spotlight provided by Chrysler. All the things that make a born maker made this. The all-new Chrysler 200 with available all-wheel drive, America's import. Nice play by Teddy.
Yeah, nice play by Teddy. Just getting a nice underneath crossing route through. A little bit on the back shoulder, but that's okay. Guy with Cordero turned down the speed and got around the corner. This Raider defense they've been on the field a lot this first quarter, and it's starting to show.
Offset eye left, Bridgewater under center, gives it to McKinnon, rolls around to the right to the 10, upended at the 8-yard line. That'll be a short gain for Jerick McKinnon. A gain of 3 yards. Jerick McKinnon, a standout on both sides of the ball at Georgia Southern, taken in the 3rd round. Played some quarterback, cornerback, wide receiver, running back, return punts, return kicks. He had 42 rushing touchdowns at Georgia Southern. He also caught 38 touchdowns. He had a couple of 2 interceptions defensively and threw for 12 touchdowns. That would be multifaceted. Bridgewater back to pass. Oh, Teddy dropped the ball. It's up for grabs at the 20. Vikings lead 7-0. Teddy dropped the ball, and the Vikings have recovered the fumble. They hit Teddy.
Well, he just took too long. I mean, credit the Raiders defense with good coverage down the field as we have a Raider down taking a knee. But for Teddy Bridgewater, he has to make a decision. And at this point in the field, you can just throw it out of the back of the end zone. He's trying to make a play out of nothing and giving ground and rolling out. But at this segment of the field, when you're this deep, this near the red zone, you just want to throw it out the back and live to play another down.
Bridgewater 1 of 2, 13 yards. Timeout on the field. Vikings lead the Raiders 7-0. First quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Tonight's Getting Social, presented by the Minnesota State Lottery, comes from Chris Cordella, probably to @Pete Bursich. I know it's only preseason, but so pumped to see how my @Vikings are going to look this hashtag season. Beat the Raiders, hashtag Skull, @Teddy Bridgewater in the game. Looking to continue a nice evening for third down conversions for the Vikings. The team is 3 of 3, leading 7-0 over the Raiders. Bridgewater with his first audible in the National Football League. He's 1 of 2 for 13 yards. 3rd and 19. He'll check into a run to Jerick McKinnon, right side across the 20, hit at the 15. And he falls ahead to about the 13-yard line, run of 8 by the rookie from Georgia Southern, from the rookie from Louisville. Blair Walsh in for a field goal try. Last year, Blair Walsh was 26 of 30 on field goals, 2 of 5 from 50 and beyond, after setting NFL records in his first season for perfection from 50 and beyond. Second-year punter Jeff Locke, Blair's roommate, holds the long snapper, is the long-tenured Colin Loeffler. 30-yard try, right-footed kick is up, and it's good. And with 54 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Minnesota Vikings take a 10-0 lead. Time for some analysis from Pete Bursich. Well, Matt Castle leads the team 10 plays, 70 yards. Matt Asiata finishes it off with a touchdown, a 1-yard plunge. Teddy Bridgewater enters the game, has some good moments. They close with a field goal.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better opening quarter for the Viking offense. The defense getting 2, 3 and outs, punt return by Thielen. So you're seeing the defense set up the offense, and the offense putting points on the board. So, a very impressive first quarter for the Minnesota Vikings.
It's time for Vikings trivia, presented by Mills Fleet Farm. Take a peek at this trivia question. There's Teddy Bridgewater talking to Scott Turner, Norv Turner's son. He's the quarterback's coach. Name the 6 Vikings Hall of Famers who participated in Super Bowl versus the Raiders.
Well, I know that I think the trick question is David Casper, who was on the Raiders, I believe, at the time, and then snuck over to the Vikings later on.
Alan Page.
So that's 2. He's giving you the answer.
Eller. You're the historian.
No, I know.
You went to Notre Dame. I went to Pasadena City College. Be smart.
What about the coach?
But Grant, boom! Oh, sorry, we can't finish it. There's the kick. Vikings trivia presented by Mills Fleet Farm. We love it.
Ron Yari?
Blair Walsh with a 30-yard field goal. Teddy leads the team on a 10-play, 42-yard drive. Took 5.5 minutes. How about this? Castle's touchdown drive, 10 plays, 70 yards, 5 minutes, 28 seconds. Teddy Bridgewater's field goal drive, 10 plays, 42 yards, also 5 minutes, 28 seconds. 54 seconds to go in the first quarter, 10-0 Vikings. Minnesota's had the ball 10 minutes, 56 seconds of the first quarter. Series 3 for Matt Schaub, the first-year Raider. A couple of receivers right, 1 left. Darren McFadden in the game now for the Oakland Raiders. McFadden gets the carry to the left side room, 25, 30, 35. And Darren McFadden supplanting Maurice Jones-Drew. Rambles for 23 yards, taken down by Antone Exum. Antone Exum, a rookie safety, taken in the 6th round, pick 182.
Now we had a chance to see Matt Barr coming off the edge. It's just the defensive line in front. On a stunt, you still have to maintain gap integrity despite slanting one way or the other. So Fred Evans kind of overruns the play, and there was no one there behind him. So nice job on McFadden coming down, letting that play develop, finding that gap, and then just taking it to the next level.
1st and 10, Raiders from their own 43. Matt Schaub goes on a deep drop. He's looking down the field. Sacked! Matt Schaub sacked. And he's sacked by Anthony Barr, who only had 23.5 in 2 seasons as a linebacker at UCLA. And what a beautiful way to win the first quarter from TCF Bank Stadium. Matt Asiata with a touchdown, Blair Walsh with a field goal, and Anthony Barr with a sack. Minnesota 10, Oakland 0. Second quarter action coming up shortly on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network.
Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Minnesota Vikings. By Verizon, now watch local Sunday NFL games live on your smartphone with NFL Mobile, exclusively from Verizon. By NFL Ticket Exchange, powered by Ticketmaster. Buy and sell tickets at NFLTicketExchange.com. By U.S. Bank, all of us serving you.
Gorgeous evening in downtown Minneapolis. Pete Bursich, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber on the sidelines. We'll put Ben in the mix here momentarily. And the Vikings lead the first preseason game 10-0, beating the Oakland Raiders. Matt Schaub starts the second quarter. 2nd down, goes on play action, dump right, caught at the 40, and rambling out of bounds to the 47-yard line. Kirk Coleman on the tackle. Going out of bounds for the Oakland Raiders was Jamie Adewale. Ben?
Hey guys, not surprising we have Adrian Peterson not playing today, but what is a little surprising, let's go back to the offseason. You're not one to really get vocal about your feelings with this team. Leslie Frazier gets fired, you're approaching your third coach in 8 years with this franchise, and you expressed a little displeasure with the way things are going. They hire Mike Zimmer, Norv Turner, they get Teddy Bridgewater, and then recently you said you've bought back in, and you're ready to let it ride. What changed in your mentality towards this franchise?
Really just them making that step and bringing in Zimmer, and then bringing in Coach Turner. You know, two guys. I heard a lot about Coach Zimmer because Turner. I've seen his offense, and I knew what he would bring to our team. So my interest got sparked back into it. And they've proven right so far.
Well, another guy that they did draft is Jerick McKinnon. You've kind of took him under your wing, but also Matt Asiata's played very well too. They had two guys battling for that number 2 spot. What sort of advice have you told both of them?
Just to keep working hard. Come out here today. It was a good opportunity for them to get some film, something on tape. And, this is what you've been doing your whole life, playing football. So go out, make sure you're executing, and leave it all out there on the line.
All right, man. I always enjoy the time. Thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Adrian Peterson averaged 4.5 yards per run last year and had 10 rushing touchdowns as Matt Schaub on third down, back to pass, whips it right, incomplete. Sean Prater knocked it away from the intended Raider, and the Oakland Raiders still have not crossed the 50-yard line. 13:51 to go in the first half. Raiders have yet to cross the 50, and this will be another punt for Marquette King. Adam Thielen to receive it.
Thielen back in here, 15. Taking the punt.
Wide snap, King brings it in, end over end punt, returnable. Thielen fields it hip high at the 20, heads to the right, gets loose at the 25 to the 30 in front of his bench, impressing his coaches to the 40, lowers the helmet at the 42 and grinds his way to the 43. Adam Thielen. 24-yard return by Adam Thielen, who is mic'd up by the Vikings Entertainment Network tonight. You'll hear more about that, and we'll continue the game. The Vikings lead 10-0 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Adam Thielen, second-year receiver, punt returner, wired for sound tonight. Here he is.
Let's go! That's what Jeff said. He said that over there is the windiest part.
Oh, really?
And he said when it comes down over there, it's going to trail up because the wind's going that way.
Minnesota connection there. Adam Thielen from Mankato playing for the Mavericks, chatting with former Gopher Marcus Sherrills as we originate from the campus of the University of Minnesota as Teddy Bridgewater takes the snap, fakes a handoff, and goes on an end around to Jarius Wright. And Jarius heads near side across the 50, 45, 40, and is taken down at the 40-yard line. He is tackled by Brandon Ross. A 17-yard piece of trickery. Teddy Bridgewater to Jarius Wright. By the way, with that Adam Thielen mic'd up. For exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, visit Vikings.com, your source for everything purple.
Yeah, first time we get to see Jarius Wright with the football and again making plays. That's again the Norv Turner style where you're putting guys in motion and keeping guys off balance.
Bridgewater. Quick hitter left to Thielen on a slant, incomplete at the 35 on 1st and 10 from the 40.
You go back and you listen to him being mic'd up, Thielen.
Norv!
There's Norv right there. And this has got to be a walk in the park for him. He's done this for so long. The look on his you just have to love to work under him. It just, you can see the frustration on his face. And this is just the preseason. So these, it may just be a tune-up or whatever you want to call it. But for the coaches as well, they're taking this as seriously as they can.
2nd and 10 from the Raiders 40 with a 10-point lead. Bridgewater play action, floats out to the right, fires right, incomplete. Jerome Simpson, the intended receiver at the 25. It's now 3rd down. It is 3rd and 10. Adam Thielen, the preferred punt returner when healthy, will be Marcus Sherrills. I think Adam Thielen makes the team. Depending on some stuff that may be happening with Jerome Simpson. Greg Jennings, Cordero Patterson, Jarius Wright, Jerome Simpson, Adam Thielen for the top 5. I'm just guessing.
As a backup on the punt return, he's getting a chance to show what he does. I think his ability, like any other backup, to make a team is dependent upon special teams. So if he's out here returning punts, doing well, making some big returns, he's going to have a better shot at making this club.
Vikings are 3 of 4 on third down. It's 3rd and 10. Teddy on a deep drop, sees the pressure, rolls out to the left. Bridgewater sees nothing down the field, walks out of bounds. Hit late, no flag on the Raiders bench. At the Raiders bench, that is. C.O. Moore, second-year linebacker from UConn. Got Teddy, but I guess it wasn't late. And Jeff Locke will punt for the first time this preseason. He only had 3 touchbacks last year.
And that's what we want to see out of Teddy. Nothing there, rolling out, extending the play for a little while. Play close to being hit out of bounds, but great coverage by the Raiders defensive backs down the field. Teddy had absolutely nowhere to go. So you'd rather see him pull that thing down than try to force something that's not there.
Jeff Locke dropped 23 inside the 20 last year. Second-year punter from UCLA with the Aussie-style end-over-end. Denarius Moore calls for a fair catch with his heels on the 10. Raiders ball. They haven't crossed the 50 against this Vikings defense. 10-0 Vikings in the second quarter. This is Minnesota Vikings football. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 10-zip Vikings. If you haven't seen the live cam that overlooks the new stadium site, there is a link on the home page at Vikings.com where you can check it out live. It's very, very cool. We are on the campus of the University of Minnesota for a couple of seasons, then into the new spot in 2016. 10-0 Vikings, 12-13 to go in the first half. The Raiders have a new quarterback. It is Derek Carr, a rookie from Fresno State. He's a rookie. Cordero Patterson is in his second year. Ben Lieber is with Cordero.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're with Cordero Patterson. You're doing all right. Okay, I think there's no sunflower seeds in the teeth. I think you're fine. Hey, so you come out today, you start off fast, and you're just abusing Terrell Brown. Why do you have to do that to him, man?
It's not that I'm doing it to him, man. You know, I'm out here, man. This is my sophomore year, man. I'm trying to have a heck of a year, man. No knock to nobody, man, but, you know, I feel like no one going to touch me this year, so, you know, that's how this whole offense feels. You know, we feel like we untouchable this year, so we got a statement to make, and we're trying to make it out here today.
Well, it's pretty evident already in this first game. I mean, the eye test. Watching you last year in your first preseason game until now, you're playing much faster. It's a new offense just like it was last year. What's attributed to you playing fast right now?
Man, you know, in the offseason, man, I worked real harder than I did last year, you know. You know, I had a problem with that growing up. You know, my work ethic wasn't good as it was. And so, you know, this year I try to base a lot of it on my work ethic, man. So I see today, man, I felt a little good out here running around, man. I felt like I belong here. You know, last year in the preseason, I ain't feel like I was supposed to be a part of the team, but now I feel like I'm supposed to be a part of this team now.
Well, I'm excited to watch you. Congrats on the hard work paying off, man.
All right, thanks, sir.
Good job, Ben. Cordero Patterson, once again, we mentioned it atop the broadcast. He had, in his final 5 games last year, he's the best kick returner in the NFL off one season. His return against the Green Bay Packers for 109 and at Soldier Field, fantastic. A little slow to go offensively. In the first 12 games, he had 1 receiving touchdown. In his final 5 games, Cordero Patterson 6 touchdowns, 3 via catch, 3 via run. First down, Derek Carr, David's little brother, back to pass, wheels it left, incomplete. Incomplete. Swatted away and knocked away by Derek Cox, a free agent cornerback formerly of the San Diego Chargers. Derek Carr, by the way, a second-round draft pick by these Raiders.
One thing that we've seen already, Paul, is just the way these DBs are competing for plays. You have Derek Cox in this play. We saw Captain Munnerlyn earlier. Just tight coverage, good fundamentals. These guys are seeing things happen in front of them and exploding. So I think the cornerback position right now looks much improved.
Anthony Barr still in the game. He has a sack. Carr whips it out to the right, and it's caught. It is caught by Denarius Moore, 4th-year receiver from Tennessee. Jabari Price, 7th-year corner from North Carolina with the tackle. He was the final Viking taken in the 2014 draft, one of 3 7th-round picks. There's George Edwards, the defensive coordinator. As defensive coordinator for a team run by Mike Zimmer, what's George Edwards' role?
Well, he's the guy that's going to implement what Zimmer really wants. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. And we've seen already today with the zone blitzes here again, you have 10 guys on the line of scrimmage showing that kind of a blitz. So the Vikings are not wasting any time schematically to get back into this.
Carr with a Moore screen left. He'll grind his way to a first down, far side of the field. 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Matt Asiata with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. That capped a 10-play, 70-yard drive led by Matt Castle. Took 5.5 minutes. Blair Walsh with a 30-yard field goal. Teddy Bridgewater led that drive. 10 plays, 42 yards. Also took 5 minutes, 28 seconds. Here's Anthony Barr. He has a sack this evening, 23.5 in his 2 seasons as a linebacker at UCLA. He also had 41.5 tackles for loss. Carr back to pass, wheels it over the center of the field, incomplete. Incomplete, Derek Carr. 2nd and 10. Anthony Barr, 6'5", 255, runs a 4.5 40. Taken with the 9th overall pick in the draft. Athletically speaking, he's extremely talented. What's the next step?
Well, the next step, and he's getting a lot of that today, and that's being a linebacker off the line of scrimmage, seeing the play actions. We saw a play earlier that the Raiders got loose on that was his responsibility into the flat. So a couple mistakes. But he's playing fast, and he's starting to read these linemen, and that's the kind of growth that you need out of a young linebacker.
He has a half sack. Tom Johnson also got half that sack. Handoff. Raiders with a handoff on 2nd and 10. And that is Latavius Murray, the kick returner. Ball carrier for a couple.
You look at George Edwards there, and I think he's going to get some phone calls from around the league saying, hey, the first preseason game against the Raiders, you're putting 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. You're showing blitz. You're dropping defensive ends into coverage.
Hey.
But you know what? New coaching staff, these guys need some confidence. So any way you can go about getting it, I'm for it.
Raiders have yet to cross the 50. 3rd and 6 from their own 47. Derek Carr, the quarterback. Matt Schaub played 3 series, got nothing. Trips right. Carr back to pass, swing left, caught. Now they cross the 50. And they got a first down. Look at the expectations off the defense from last year. Minnesota Vikings, now they missed it as 4th and short, but they still crossed the 50. Vikings last in the NFL last year with points allowed, 2nd last with yardage allowed. Here we're in a preseason game, first preseason game, and we're celebrating the fact that with 8 minutes and change to go in the first half, the Raiders had not crossed the 50-yard line.
Well, it's
pretty good.
It's been very good. As a defensive staff, you don't set your expectations based upon last year's performance. You want to come in here and say, we're going to be top 10 in the league.
Yep.
And the players are going to be like, well, I'll believe it when I kind of see it. And they've seen it today. They believe in there. It looks like they're buying into this.
4th and short, 9 in the box. Handoff to Murray. Dive up the middle. First down. Derek Cox with the ankle tackle between the hash marks. Midway through the 2nd quarter, Vikings lead 10-0. Anthony Barr once again with a half sack. Former New Orleans Saints defensive tackle Tom Johnson also with a half sack on the same play on Matt Schaub. Barr was the 2nd linebacker selected in the 2014 draft behind Khalil Mack, taken 5th overall by these Oakland Raiders. Didn't call his name once tonight, but arguably 2 of the 3 best pass rushers in the most recent draft are here tonight. You got Jadeveon Clowney with Houston, Khalil Mack for the Raiders, Anthony Barr for the Vikings. Barr with a half sack. First down Raiders, about 7 to go in the first half. Derek Carr, the quarterback, offset eye left. Murray. Churning. Gain of 1. Let's go back to the trivia question. Presented by Mills Fleet Farm. Mills Fleet Farm, we love it. 6 Vikings, Hall of Famers who participated in Super Bowl versus the Raiders. Got Page, got Eller, got Yeri, got Grant, Fran the Man, and Paul Krause. Oakland had 8 go to the Hall of Fame. 2nd and 9 Raiders in Vikings territory. Offset eye right, play action. Carr sold it beautifully, floats it out left. Intercepted by a member of the Minnesota Vikings. It's an interception by Kurt Coleman. Kurt Coleman with a safety interception. And the Vikings turn over the Derek Carr-led Raiders and have a 10-0 lead from TCF Bank Stadium. Vikings ball with Bridgewater. When we return, Minnesota Vikings football is on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 10-zip Vikings, 2nd quarter at halftime from the team's documentary show, Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. Tonight we profile Vikings coach Mike Zimmer. For more insider content, tune in all season to KARE 11 on Saturdays. Teddy Bridgewater, 1 of 4 passing, 13 yards. He's under center. He led the Vikings to a field goal. Blair Walsh knocked that thing through from 30 yards, 10-0 Vikings. And Bridgewater gives it to Jerick McKinnon, tries to shake around the right side, and he'll fall ahead for a gain of 1. I was just chatting with Vikings.com content manager Mike Wobschall in the hallway, Pete Bursich. And much to your surprise, we came to the agreement through the first half. This really couldn't be much better for the Vikings. Seriously, it couldn't.
No, you're right.
This is awesome.
This is the first chance out here live, played against somebody else, and you talk to the players all during camp saying we've put the work in. We're working to get ourselves straight, to get where we need to be, and they've shown it so far, so great job.
2nd and 9, Bridgewater looks right, sees nothing, wheels it out to the left, caught Red Ellison at the 45-yard line, gain of 5. And that'll make it 3rd and 4. So it looks like Bridgewater, Teddy Bridgewater, rookie from Louisville, 32nd overall pick. Rick Spielman, Vikings general manager, traded with the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks to acquire Bridgewater. It looks like he'll finish the first half, and then Christian Ponder will be the quarterback for most, if not all, of the second half. The Vikings are 3 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. This is 3rd and 4 from their own 45. Raiders with 8 in the box. Bridgewater shotgun. Raiders rush 4. Bridgewater hit. Flag comes in from the secondary. Sack at the 35. This will be holding Oakland Raiders. Holding on the Oakland Raiders. Nullifying the sack.
Yeah, the Raiders have struggled in man-to-man already tonight.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 35. 5-yard penalty, automatic. Down.
Automatic first down for Teddy Bridgewater and the Vikings.
Yeah, and Teddy's been lucky in a couple of sacks already today. Penalties downfield and the Raiders back end. So the Raiders defensive backs struggling tonight. Again, keep up man-to-man basically with the wide receivers. And when you have these holding penalties, it usually means you're either out of position or you're just not moving your feet and being an athlete. So for the Raiders, they have some work to do on the back end.
First down, Bridgewater. Handoff McKinnon, near side, lowers the shoulder at the 45, walks out of bounds, gain of 5. 2nd and 5, clock winds away. The Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining this half, the Raiders 3. What do you think of that Jerick McKinnon pick in the 3rd round? Option quarterback at Georgia Southern, ran it, caught it, threw it, played DB.
That's the thing with most great athletes. If you're going to play like at Georgia Southern, and they have him show up on so many sides of the ball in so many capacity, so many different ways. He's definitely a talented athlete, and he definitely knows the game of football. So you just got to find a role for him.
Bridgewater zips it out right, caught Jerome Simpson for a Vikings first down at the Raiders 39. Gain of 6 yards. Jerome Simpson with the reception from Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater 3 of 6, 24 yards. Jerick McKinnon 7 runs, 37 yards. Cordero Patterson done for the night, 3 catches, 38 yards. Kyle Rudolph had a 22-yard grab, almost got into the end zone. Matt Asiata finished it off with a 1-yard piece of tough love yardage. 3 runs, 13 yards, and a touchdown for Asiata. Greg Jennings a catch for 13 yards. Bridgewater offset eye right, goes to the rookie from Georgia Southern, Jerick McKinnon. Tries to get around the left side, stiff arm at the 40, taken down at the 37-yard line. Gain of 2 for McKinnon. Now the speed of the teams Georgia Southern faces different than definitely different than even the 2nd and or 3rd team of the Oakland Raiders, the last place operation from the AFC West, because you can tell with Jerick McKinnon when he cuts that thing back and tries to circumnavigate the defense, they're a lot quicker to the ball than he expects.
No question, and it looks like daylight, but it really isn't. And that's right. The speed of the defense, the speed of these players in the NFL is much quicker. But like any good athlete, he will learn that. He'll anticipate it, and he'll start making some better decisions.
McKinnon with the run to the right side, and he is stopped.
Now, just like in a play like this, Paul, we have a guard pulling in front of you. He seems to be taking just a little bit too much time with the football and not getting north and south. Yes, you have to let that play develop, but that's timing. That's knowing when the guard's going to pull and be right in his hip pocket so the defender from the backside can't chase you down. So, we don't want to be too hard on the rookie. I think, again, he has a lot of potential to be a good player. And then we're seeing Khalil Mack, the gentleman that chased him down, and
5th overall pick in the draft.
All the talk of him coming into it, and you want people wanting to trade up. And I know there was a lot of talk about how good is he because he went to a smaller college like Buffalo, University of Buffalo, and we'll be seeing it the rest of tonight.
Some some rookies on defense who will cause a lot of damage this year, Khalil Mack and Anthony Barr. Vikes lead 10-0, 2-minute warning. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Former Vikings linebacker Ben Lieber's on the sidelines. Ben, we see Anthony Barr right now, half sack tonight. 6'5", 255. He's a 4-5 guy. What do you think of Anthony Barr's game?
I think it's pretty special, man. I've talked to some guys defensively at camp, and they're like, man, this guy's going to be elite. I mean, he's got to figure some stuff out, obviously, in the pass coverage aspect of it, you know, route recognition, things of that nature. But, you know, him getting after the quarterback, he's a pure stud.
Third down, Bridgewater, wheels right, incomplete on third down. Ben, last one. The difference between the position Barr plays compared to like Chad Greenway, does Anthony Barr play the same position you played in the half decade you played here for the Vikings defense?
Yeah, that's right. He plays what we call the bubble backer, so he's kind of an exposed linebacker with not really a defensive lineman to cover him up. So what that means is he has to take on a lot more fullbacks, a lot more offensive guards and tackles in the run game, and that's another area that he has to work on. He's never played off the ball with offensive guys coming in his face and trying to block him. So that's something he has to work on as well. But athletic guy, I think he can figure it out.
Yeah, he had 23.5 sacks in 2 seasons at UCLA. Jeff Locke's punt is absolutely brilliant. Jabari Price, you want to make the team, make plays like that. Touchback. Sean Prater was also in the mix.
Now, when you go out and you go into the end zone, you have to reestablish yourself back in before you touch the football, and I just don't think that Prater got to the ball.
There's Denarius Moore.
In the field of play, the second player was in the end zone.
There we go.
There it is.
Therefore, it is a touchback. First down, timeout.
Minnesota Vikings lead the Oakland Raiders 10-0. Mike Zimmer feature via Beyond the Gridiron at halftime. More action when we return to Minneapolis on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Approaching halftime, it's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 10-zip Vikings. Ben Lieber is with right defensive end Everson Griffin.
Hey, Everson, I know it's the first preseason game, but you guys came out offensively, defensively, and special teams and really played well. How important is that for you guys to come out in a game like this and just play fast?
It's very important to us. We practice hard. We study. We're in our playbook, and we're going out there and executing our plays like we should. And we're doing a good job. And we just got to keep on letting this carry over to the next preseason game and into the incoming season.
You know, and for you, after signing that offseason deal, for the first time in your career, you're going into training camp in this season as being the guy at that right defensive end. How does that change your mentality going into training camp?
I have to come out and be a leader. I have to lead by example, and I got to show these young guys how to work. I got to come ready day in and day out to execute my assignment. It's all about execution and not making too many mistakes out there, and just becoming the guy that I know I can become for this team so we can win in 2014.
Well, always looking forward to you flying off that edge. Thank you a lot, Everson.
Good job, Ben. Everson Griffin, 5.5 sacks last year, 9 tackles for loss. Everson Griffin, formerly of the University of Southern California, like Ben said, he is the starting right defensive end. Jared Allen goes to the Chicago Bears via free agency. But the thing about Mike Zimmer and George Edwards' defense, as you see a sack here from Corey Wooten, former member of the Chicago Bears, is you don't necessarily have to look for a guy like Jared Allen to have 17 to 20 whatever sacks. The way Zimmer does it, with the way he rotates defensive linemen, linebackers, and everybody, is the goal is to have multiple guys with 4 sacks or more.
Yeah,
and that certainly should be Griffin.
Yeah, absolutely. Griffin's going to be one of those guys. And there's, you know, it's a bit of a copycat league, and you look what Seattle did with the platooning of the defensive line, with bringing in fresh bodies. The Vikings are kind of doing that here. We got to see that in the last play. That was a tremendous pass rush by Corey Wooten, getting his hand up underneath the tackle, showing the leverage coming underneath and making a sack. So don't forget about these guys that they have right behind him. Corey Wooten's is a veteran.
Yep.
Between him, Robinson, they will all be there. And I think, like you said, having fresh guys and rotating them in play after play after play, it's going to make them all a step fast.
Catch Brian Leonhardt, Spring Lake Park High School alum, Bemidji State alum, number 87 for the Oakland Raiders, short of the first down. Vikings lead 10-0. A Beyond the Gridiron related feature on head coach Mike Zimmer at halftime. Zimmer, the 9th coach in the history of Minnesota Vikings football, beyond the gridiron, courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network. Coach Zimmer is in his 21st NFL season. He was a defensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals for 6 years, an extremely well-respected defense. Spent 12 years with the Dallas Cowboys, 6 as defensive coordinator, 6 as DB's coach, and he won a Super Bowl in 1995 with the Dallas Cowboys as a defensive backs coach. Take a peek at the Arby's schedule. The Vikings start at St. Louis September 7th. At St. Louis, then you have Tom Brady and the New England Patriots here at TCF Bank Stadium. Then we go down to the Bayou to play the Saints. Falcons here at Lambeau Field after the Falcons.
I would say those first 5 games, we're gonna learn really quickly what this team's all about, and you'll see a nice home stretch the month of November into December. Couple road games inside, outside, and then finish it here again against Chicago. So nice cold weather game. I want to see all these fans out here with their shirts off.
The 2014 schedule is presented by Arby's. We have the meats. We also have Jerick McKinnon set to field this punt, but it's short. Bounces at the 20 and is touchdown at the 21-yard line with 35 seconds to go in the first half. Norv Turner, the new offensive coordinator, 40-year coach in football, 30 in the NFL. Defensive coordinator for the Cleveland, make that offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns last year. There's Norv. 6-year head coach for the San Diego Chargers. Also formerly a head coach with the Oakland Raiders and the Washington Redskins. And the new Vikings defensive coordinator, George Edwards, 17 years in the NFL. Was a linebackers coach for the Miami Dolphins, 2012 and 2013. Former defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Redskins. Teddy Bridgewater supplanted Matt Castle. Castle led the team on a 10-play, 70-yard touchdown drive. Teddy Bridgewater has led the Vikings to a field goal as he goes back to pass, tries to set up a screen right to McKinnon, incomplete. Bridgewater 3 of 8 for 24 yards, 31 seconds to go in the first half. This could be it for Teddy Bridgewater. We might see Christian Ponder for the majority of the second half. If so, what do you think of Teddy's debut?
Yeah, he's done a nice job getting out on the edge, showing his athleticism, made some nice throws down the field. He hasn't been as efficient as you'd like him to see, but again, he's a rookie. Seeing him moving around in the pocket, though, Paul, is pretty impressive. The kid is an athlete. He can escape the rush. So you're getting all of that. You're getting the athleticism that you expect. Yeah, it's just going to take some time for the kid.
McKinnon with a carry following fellow rookie David Yankee in at left guard. 5th-round pick, 145 overall from Stanford, run of 6. Timeout on the field. Vikings now have 1 timeout. The Raiders also have 1. Let's put more of a focus on Teddy Bridgewater, rookie from Louisville. Again, 427 attempts last year, just 4 interceptions. He completed 71% of his passes at Louisville. 27-8 and 35 career starts for the Cardinals. And the rookie profile is presented by Tria Orthopedic Center, the official orthopedic provider of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and you wonder, you look at him and how highly touted he was coming out, but a bad pro day put such a negative spin on him. You wonder if that workout alone got him to drop as far as he did, because coming into this draft a few months before the draft, he was up there with all the rest of the quarterbacks.
Bridgewater shotgun, gives it to McKinnon out of the shotgun, tries to sneak out to the left, nothing. Stopped at the 25. Timeout Raiders. Dennis Allen, coach of the Oakland Raiders, with a timeout. Final timeout for the Oakland Raiders. You know, the Vikings are set to punt here. Defensively, a half sack from Anthony Barr, a half sack from defensive tackle Tom Johnson, former member of the New Orleans Saints, and a sack for Corey Wooten. What is the former Bear Corey Wooten most remembered for in his NFL career? In this building in 2010 on Monday Night Football.
He ended somebody's starting streak, didn't he?
He slammed down.
What was that guy's name again?
He slammed down Brett Favre and ended his career on a frigid night at TCF Bank Stadium during a miserable 2010 season for the Minnesota Vikings. Corey Wooten, now a defensive end for the Vikings. Leffler snap to Locke is good. Jeffrey with a fantastic punt. Denarius Moore fields it at the 23, heads to the left. Look at Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen captures the veteran Denarius Moore. Adam Thielen returns punts. Adam Thielen plays wide receiver. And Adam Thielen opening the eyes of special teams coordinator Mike Prefer with excellent punt coverage.
And that's, again, how do you make a team as a backup or as a backup wide receiver? It's this. It's making plays on the field. We saw this years ago with a guy named Chris Walsh, as we can all remember, wide receiver from Stanford. So for Thielen, he's taking advantage of every snap that he gets, and that's what the coaches want to see. He's getting excited. He's out there beating people. I don't care if it's returning punts or covering kicks. He's 100 miles an hour.
Derek Carr goes to a knee. The Minnesota Vikings head to halftime leading the Oakland Raiders 10-0. Matt Castle led the team on a 10-play, 70-yard drive. Matt Asiata capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Blair Walsh also with a 30-yard field goal. Teddy Bridgewater finishes the first half 3 of 8 for 24 yards. A feature on Mike Zimmer coming up at halftime. For Ben Lieber and Pete Bursich, I'm Paul Allen on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. I haven't played the balance of the first half. For more on the first half, we have an interview coming up shortly. Greg Coleman is on the sidelines with Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer.
Coach, you got the first half in the books under your belt. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, we didn't do good enough on some of the situation. We should have more points on the board there. Down there we had field position a couple of times. We got sacked. And then a couple of third downs, we didn't do very good on defense. So we got to do a lot better.
Coach, I got to ask you about your first impressions about Teddy Bridgewater under the lights.
Well, he did good. He started out good. You know, he threw that one boot out there, but you know, he made mistakes, some mistakes like some of the young guys do. He'll get a little bit more time in the second half, and we'll go.
All right, thanks, Coach. That's head coach Mike Zimmer. Paul, back up to you and Pete.
Pete, spoken absolutely like a head coach.
Exactly.
You're winning 10-0. The Raiders don't cross the 50 for like the first 22 minutes of the game. Your starting quarterback leads you on a 70-yard touchdown drive to start the game. The crowd's chanting Teddy. You get points out of Teddy, 3 of them. But first thing he says was, not good enough, millions of things to correct.
From an execution standpoint, I don't think you could ask anything more out of a team in the first half of a first preseason game. Yes, we all understand that. But for the defense to come in, 3 plays and out, punt, good field position. Matt Castle with an outstanding drive. He uses all of his receivers. We see passes to Rudolph. We see passes to Cordero Patterson. Greg Jennings on a nice man-to-man out route on a pick route. Score, touchdown, defense comes in, holds him again, punt, nice return by Thielen, boom, another short field, and we get a field goal. So that's what you want to see. You want to see guys not making penalties, the right guys being on the field, and from an execution standpoint, I think things couldn't have gone any better for the Minnesota Vikings. So what does coach have to go to? You got to keep these guys, you got to keep their head in the game, and you don't want to give it the old, well, the first preseason game doesn't count, because for every guy here, almost every guy here, they're playing for their job, they're playing to compete, they're playing for a starting position. So you got to pick situational. You got to say, hey, in this case, in this spot, we need to get better. And for a coach who wants to teach and wants to fix, you can't build as much on the things that go well as the things that don't. So I think that's why he emphasized that coming out of the locker room.
Boom! Sebastian Janikowski with a kick to rookie Jerick McKinnon, 7 yards deep in the end zone. The second half is underway. Jerick lowers the helmet at the 18, and he pile drives his way to the 22-yard line, and that's where the Minnesota Vikings will start. Teddy Bridgewater stays in at quarterback. Here are the Verizon game stats presented by Verizon, America's fastest 4G network.
Yeah, most of those yards for the Raiders coming in the second quarter. The first 2 drives with Matt Schaub at the helm were not too impressive. Viking defense hold them to 3 and out. So the numbers, they're pretty balanced, and I think that's kind of what again Coach Zimmer was saying about need to do better in certain situations.
The Raiders with 66 yards of offense in the first half. Gain of 1 for Joe Banyard, the third running back used in a game in which Adrian Peterson did not play. Adrian has not carried the ball in a preseason game since 2011. Saw some spot duty last year. They went play action to him, but that was about it. Then he was gone. Do you think Adrian will get any carries this entire preseason?
Well, if they do, I think it'll be just like last year and maybe getting him a pass to the flat. You just like to see a running back take a hit or 2 with the ball in his hands before the season starts. So you don't want that first real full-time, full-speed hit coming through when you're in the regular season, and for no other reason to knock a little bit of that rust off, let them get used to putting the pads on, warming up, being out there for the first play of the game. And some guys at this level need a lot of work in the preseason to get ready. Adrian really doesn't. I think he's ready to go right now. But again, you want to get him just enough to get him ready, and for him, let's face it, he only needs maybe 2-3 plays to get ready for his season. It's impressive, but yet this man's whole career has been impressive.
More on Peterson momentarily and how he may mesh with new offensive coordinator Norv Turner. Bridgewater, shotgun, 3rd and 9. Steps up, avoids the pressure, dump right. And rambling for a Minnesota Vikings first down after a catch in the right flat is Mike Higgins, third-year tight end from Nebraska, Omaha. Look at Teddy get away from that pressure, Peter.
Yeah, we're seeing him move around a little bit in the pocket, and he has an opportunity there to either pull the ball down and run with it or throw it. And again, you want to see him sitting there. You have some green in front of him, gets it off to Mike Higgins, and Mike does a nice little move inside, moves the chain. So a nice decision there by Teddy.
Bridgewater under center. Banyard the tailback, play action, deep drop by the rookie from Louisville. He'll dump left, caught Joe Banyard. Tackled at the 38. Back to the former MVP, Adrian Peterson, momentarily. Adrian had 29 receptions last year and 1 receiving touchdown. He has 5 receiving touchdowns in his career, and the top amount of receptions he's had in a season, that memorable 09 season, 43. Norv Turner has running backs that generally catch 50 passes or more during the course of a season. Is Adrian capable of that?
I think so, but I don't think that's an ideal role for him, and I think maybe those passes might come down. That's where I say a guy like Jerick McKinnon, there is a position in this scheme, in this offense, for someone who has that kind of talent out of the backfield, and if he can block and he can understand protections, Jerick, I think, has a big head up on being the 3rd down running back, and you would like to have that kind of versatility. We saw it years ago back when I played with a guy like David Palmer. We could get him a check down. He's not going to break it for a touchdown, but he is going to be able to move the chains. As we take a look at Norv Turner there, sitting in the booth, just kind of relaxing, still calling the game. You want that kind of versatility out of the backfield, and personally, I think McKinnon might be that guy.
3rd and short, I formation, line in front of Banyard, and Bridgewater goes to the up back Zach line, and he rolls to a first down to the 45-yard line, run of 2. There you see Matt Khalil, 3rd-year left tackle from USC. In his rookie year, he looked like he was on his way to becoming one of the, if not the best left tackles in the National Football League. By admission of Khalil, he didn't have a great season last year, but finished it okay. What do you think of Matt Khalil this year?
Well, he's going to have more of a rookie campaign than he did his 2nd year, and I think that's a part of showing some maturity, is him stepping up and saying, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed last year. I didn't play as well as I wanted to play. But so often when Khalil is not playing well, it's due to an injury. He's not quite 100%, and he's not the one to complain about it. He's going to play even though he's a little bit nicked up. I think the opportunity for this team, though, Paul, is in Charlie Johnson, John Sullivan, Brandon Fusco. A lot of man blocking. You're going to see more centers and guards pull with this style of offense, and we've seen it in the first half. Those guys are man blocking, getting angles, and moving inside. So a pretty impressive showing for the offensive line in the first half of the game.
2nd and 8, Bridgewater swings it left, and it's caught by the lanky Rodney Smith, formerly undrafted from Florida State. 9-yard gain and a first down. Teddy has the offense moving fluidly against the reserves of the Oakland Raiders. Norv Turner, as you pointed out repeatedly, has opted to call Vikings games from the press box level, from the coach's booth. You being a coach as long as you were and playing as long as you did, what's the difference between calling a game elevated in the coach's booth compared to the sidelines?
Well, the one thing is you don't have to wait on anyone to tell you what happened. From this angle, you can see everything. You get a feel for the game. You absolutely can tell coverages, so you don't have to have that communication with somebody in the booth. You know right away what's going on. What you do lose, though, is the ability to be on the sideline, to directly talk to someone, to look in. Some coaches love to look in a player's eyes to see if he has it tonight. Is there something wrong? Is he fired up? Is he out of it? That has to go to somebody on the sideline. And one of the reasons that not many coaches sit up in the booth is because they don't have someone on the sideline that they trust with the offense. But Norv Turner does. And I think that from a coordinator standpoint, sitting in the booth is the best place you can be.
Teddy, play action, floats right, dump over the middle, incomplete, contact, no flag. On 3rd and very short. Now, you'll see Scott Turner quarterbacks coach. That's Norv's son. Scott has extensive National Football League experience. Norv tells me he's able to do things from the booth because of the level of trust he has in his son Scott, running things the way Norv wants them run on the sidelines. And quite honestly, Scott one day is hoping to become an offensive coordinator.
Well, it's one of the nice things when you have a dad with that kind of experience, and you know if Norv Turner pulls him aside, he's going to give him gold. He's going to tell him, hey, when you're a head coach someday, make sure you do this. And when you're a head coach down the road, make sure you do that. Watch out for these kinds of things. And so Zimmer, with his son also on the staff, there's a lot of teaching going on, and that's kind of the theme that we've heard from all these coaches going into this campaign is that they teach fundamentals, they teach scheme to the players. Well, having their two of the sons there, I think makes a difference.
Teddy chewing on the clock here. It's 4th and short, 9.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. This is the 12th play of a possession that's gone 43 yards. Blair Walsh, 53-yard try, left hash. 2 of 5 from 50 and beyond last year. Snap, spot. Blair's kick is up, and it is no good. 10-0 Vikings, 9:21 to go in the third quarter. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Let's take a look at the Sanford Health Report. Not dressing this evening. Robert Blanton and Jamarcus Sanford, a couple of safeties. Robert Blanton with a hamstring injury, and the health report is presented by Sanford Health. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. Derek Carr starts the second half for the Oakland Raiders. Played sporadically in the first half. Vikes lead 10-0, 9:21 to go from TCF Bank Stadium. Carr zips it over the middle, caught. Denarius Moore in front of Audie Cole. First down for the Raiders. Captain Munnerlyn is a new member of the Minnesota Vikings. He's a cornerback. With his last 4 interceptions, he has scored 4 touchdowns. Ben Lieber has run him down on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's right, PA. He comes to us from Carolina, and he's been an immediate leader in this locker room. Let's just go back for the last 6 months. Carolina Panthers, free agent, new city, new team, instant leader, new defense. How the last 6 months been for you?
It's been crazy. At the same time, fun. I love to come to new environments and put my stamp on it, I should say. Just been coming out here with the new teammates, man, trying to win them over. Showing that I can be a leader on and off the field. And it's been fun, man, just to get to know some of the guys in the secondary, especially. To help Xavier Rose grow up a little, and Harrison Smith, all these guys, they look up to me. So I got to come out and show what I'm made of every day.
Well, like I mentioned, you were at number 2 defense last year. Carolina's known to have a great defense. And for those guys that you just mentioned, what can you take from Carolina that you can give them some advice?
Oh, man, just we got to play hard, man, and be all in one back there. It's about communication, and that's the thing in the secondary. You got to communicate. If you don't communicate, man, you can lose. And we just got to communicate with each other and get better each and every day. And I tell those guys all the time, man, we communicate, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We got the talent. We got guys back there, man, that's ball hawks. We got Xavier Rose, man. I think he's one of the best DBs I ever been around, man. He got the size, the speed, and he got the ball skills, man. Just to be one of the best to ever play this game. So I got my high expectations on him, man. I really think the kid can be special.
Well, I think all of us have a lot of high expectations for this defense, for you. And congratulations on being a Minnesota Viking. Best of luck to you.
Thanks for having me.
Great job, Ben. Good luck, Captain. Derek Carr zips it right for Denarius Moore, or check that, zips it right. It's an incomplete pass. The intended receiver, former Cleveland Brown, Greg Little from North Carolina. So the Vikings have forced another Oakland Raiders punt. Marquette King on to punt once again. And Jerick McKinnon is back for the Vikings. Adam Thielen returned the punts in the first half. Pete and Ben, after the pause, if we have some time, I'd like to chat with you about the on-field relationship between second-year punter Jeff Locke and third-year field goal kicker Blair Walsh, and how last season went, and what the expectations are for this year. Blair is 1 of 2 tonight on field goals. Excellent punt by Locke. Aussie rolls. Drop that 9-iron inside there at the 5, stops at the 7. That's all good. Vikings lead 10-0 third quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Works in the NFL, the Vikings Radio Network reaches all of Minnesota and extends into 5 states. To find the affiliate near you, visit Vikings.com. That's for Greg Coleman, Pete Bursage, and yours truly. Call all of the regular season and hopefully postseason games, with the flagship being FM 100.3 The Fan, and also Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130. Christian Ponder's in the game. 12th overall pick of the 2011 draft. Handoff right side, gains a few. Teddy Bridgewater finishes 6 of 13 for 49 yards. Christian Ponder's in the game, Pete.
I think Christian summed up his feelings and his thoughts, and he was pretty candid about it in the media this week, saying, hey, I'm out here, I'm putting out what I can do and trying to show the other teams out there, and he's auditioning for a job come this February. And you don't see that kind of honesty out of players too often. But for Ponder, I think his first couple years have been a lot of ups and downs, and I think he's been humbled by the whole thing. But as a guy with starting experience, you expect him to come out here and complete passes like that.
Yep.
This game should be running very slowly for him.
Left side to backup tight end Higgins, caught at the 25, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. 17-yard connection. The much maligned Christian Ponder to Mike Higgins. Christian, through his 3 years with the Minnesota Vikings, has 38 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, a completion percentage of 60.2, and a passer rating of 77.3. Christian back to pass again. Looks right. Wheels it out right. Incomplete. Nearly intercepted at the 42-yard line. Matt Castle started the game. Teddy Bridgewater has played the majority of the game. Here's Ponder midway through the third quarter. You've called and seen all of Christian Ponder's games. From his debut that Sunday night at Soldier Field when he supplanted Donovan McNabb, through his first start at Metrodome when he threw that glorious touchdown to Michael Jenkins to start his career, or that long gain to Michael Jenkins, to the end of the 2012 season when he got picked off by Morgan Burnett in the end zone after a long Adrian run. I mean, you've seen all the ups and downs of Christian Ponder, who goes play action, floats left, screen to Banyard, gets a little room at the 30, falls ahead to the 35, short of the first down. How would you put Christian Ponder's career in summation?
Well, it's hard. That's hard to do in one sense. You have a guy who's drafted very highly. It's not his choice. He has no choice in the matter. It's not his fault. He was drafted 12 overall. Expectations for him were very high coming in. If you're going to look at what kept Christian, I think, from becoming a starter in this league and becoming a good quarterback, I think the one thing is him just staying on the field.
Yeah.
He gets through a whole entire season, gets to the playoffs, and then misses the most important game of the season, which is the playoff season. That takes away from what you can build on. So him staying healthy is one thing. The other thing is getting better at these outside deep throws. And with a guy like Adrian Peterson, you're going to have soft outside edges. And I just don't think Christian ever got to the deep comebacks. And he never had that touch on the go route, on the fade, on the one-on-one. When a team packs the box to stop a running back, you got to make him pay, and you make him pay by going deep. And again, this is it. This is that inside. You get a little bit of room on the outside, and Thielen again, Paul, showing up. And this is one of those things in a preseason game when we shift the conversation over to Thielen. He's showing up on special teams. He's showing up as a wide receiver, so I'm excited for the kid. Let's see if he can carry that into the game number 2 and all the way through the rest of the preseason.
Thielen with his first reception of the game. It comes from Ponder. Handoff left. Vikings lead 10-0, third quarter. Christian, who completed the pass to Detroit Lake's Adam Thielen, you've known him all of his career. Very likable guy. Christian is a guy that from the minute he got here from Florida State, you've wanted to see do well. Very kind, affable kind of guy. Has had some good moments and has had some negative moments. And that probably in summation, outside of the injuries, encapsulates Christian Ponder's run here. He just was not able to find consistency. That's why they re-upped with Castle. And that's why they drafted Teddy Bridgewater.
All right, and they had just seen enough as much as they'd like to see the guy develop, and they wanted, with that investment of a high draft choice, they wanted to see the guy. They wanted to see him develop, and he just never made it. And you mentioned him off the field, and you're right. Is he a great kid? Did he do all the right things? We get to see these guys a little bit away from the game. Smart guy, good guy. But then again, for fans and for people who are Viking fans and the rest of the NFL, you want to see a guy produce. You want to see a guy do things on the field. That's why have a tendency to have short memories, and guys that don't do well off the field and get themselves in a little bit of trouble. But for Christian, he's continuing to battle. And is the book closed on him? Absolutely not. I think there's a chance for him to go somewhere else, or maybe even here if there's an injury bug, to get out there and do something. So by no means is his career coming to an end.
Ponder sacked. The Vikings are now 6 of 12 on third down conversions, leading 10-0 with about 4 minutes to go in quarter 3. Minnesota has 226 yards of offense compared to 139 for the Oakland Raiders. There's been 1 interception thrown in the game. Kurt Coleman got an interception for the Vikings. Oakland averages 5.5 yards per run, but only has run it 11 times. The Vikings have run it 24 times for an average of 4 yards per run. Here's Jeff Locke's punt. Bounces at the 25-yard line and is touchdown. 3.5 minutes to go in quarter 3. The Vikings lead the Raiders 10-0, preseason game number 1. This is Minnesota Vikings football. To the Vikings Entertainment Network, Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. David Koob is the in-booth statistician, and Joe Nelson is the in-booth spotter. We are watching the Vikings lead the Oakland Raiders 10-0. Derek Carr still in at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. As you see, Cordero Patterson doing his best beekeeper impression with that hat he had on. And he definitely stung the Raiders defense earlier with 3 receptions. Carr on a deep drop. The rookie looking deep, center of the field, has a man there. Sean Prater knocks it away. And it definitely looked like he collided with Raiders receiver Jerron Kreiner, third-year guy from Arizona. But no flags on the play. Dennis Allen's all over the side job, the side judge, that is.
And Paul, I think this is a really nice example of, even though there was some contact, Prater was making a play on the ball.
Yeah.
And that is why the referees didn't throw the flag. If there's some contact,
right,
and the DB, he has as much of a right to the football as the offensive as the receiver does. So he let that one go.
Offset eye left behind Derek Carr. Receivers left and right. Vikes lead 10-0. Next Saturday night, a week from Saturday, false start Raiders.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
A week from Saturday night, we're back at TCF Bank Stadium to take on Larry Fitzgerald Jr., Carson Palmer, and the Arizona Cardinals. Second preseason game, final home preseason game. The final 2 preseason games on the road. The ever-important third preseason game is from Kansas City. And then after that, short week, a Thursday night game against the Tennessee Titans. Shut it down for about a week and a half, then go to St. Louis and take on the St. Louis Rams for the first regular season game. Derek Carr shotgun, 2 receivers right. Vikings rush 4. Carr floats out to the left, dump left. Audie Cole all over it. Nothing, stopped at the 19. Loss of 1, Audie Cole. Audie Cole in the mix for a middle linebacker spot maybe. Jasper Brinkley starts. Mike Motti may be in the mix. Audie Cole might be in the mix. It's a nice play there by Audie Cole.
Yeah, and his experience is starting to show through with sniffing out the screen and getting back in there, making a nice play. You know, that's a lost yardage play on a screen, which for an offense, it just can't happen. But Cole's one of these guys, Paul, we saw it his rookie campaign. He's a playmaker. He's going to end up being in this league for quite some time if he can be a kind of backup, a guy that can play in a number of different positions.
Carr, dump right on 3rd and 16. Caught by the tight end, turns it up at the 30. Audie Cole in the mix, along with Jabari Price, a rookie corner from North Carolina. He was in the mix, I believe. Gerald Hodges also on the scene. Short of the first down, and this will be another Marquette King punt. And now back to receive this one, Kane Coulter, undrafted rookie from Northwestern, formerly a quarterback for Northwestern. Kane Coulter, third punt returner, used this evening by Mike Prefer. Marquette King with a boomer. Coulter floats left to the 10. Retrieves it at the 9-yard line and walks out of bounds. 57-yard punt by King. 10-0 Vikings. 1:59 to go in the third quarter. Flag on the play. Once again, we want to remind you, during the regular season,
during the kick, holding receiving team number 87, half the distance to the goal. First down Minnesota. Timeout.
Don't forget to listen to every Vikings game at FM 100.3 The Fan, the flagship for the Vikings radio network. More third quarter action with the Vikings leading by 10 shortly on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. We're over there. Wave hello, Peter. We both got our shirts from Hammer made at the Galleria.
I like my tie, though.
Well, I like your tie, too. I like mine. I like every facet of this, but I didn't realize that you were going to wear exactly the same shirt that I'm wearing.
It's a little different. I could blind you with my cufflinks. Check it out.
I think you're going colorblind with your old age. 10-0 Vikings. Vikings ball. Christian Ponder in at quarterback. And we are from the campus of the University of Minnesota, the home destination for the Minnesota Vikings this year. The place that houses the Golden Gophers when they play all of their games, including in the Big Ten. Joe Banyard with the carry that time. 10-0 Vikings. Matt Asiata with a 1-yard touchdown run. Matt Castle started the game. How do you think Castle did? I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was. And all you have to do is look at the completion percentages when you compare Castle to Teddy Bridgewater. And Castle was very accurate. He used almost all of his receivers, the tight ends. He threw the ball to Matt Asiata, Jennings,
yep.
A couple nice throws to Cordero Patterson. So, you spread the football around and got it to where he goes. And you can see him right now. He's mentoring Bridgewater. And
yep.
One of the things that stands out, you look at that picture, Paul, and you look at the difference now.
Yeah.
Right here. I mean, there's 3 or 4 inches before you get to the top of Matt Castle. Teddy Bridgewater, there is a lot of talk about how tall he really is, and we're seeing Carr on the other side, Derek Carr, another guy who his height has been questioned, size, weight, speed, that kind of thing. But I think overall Castle looked very good tonight.
Castle 5 of 6, 62 yards, passer rating of 109.5. Ponder throws it behind the tight end on third down, and Jeff Locke needs to punt from the end zone. Hey, get your 2014 Vikings season tickets with great locations still available and receive priority on tickets in the new stadium. Visit Vikings.com. John Sullivan, Adrian Peterson, Chad Greenway, Greg Jennings. Your favorite Vikings displayed on those tickets there. Get those tickets now to Vikings.com/tickets. Quite the home opener. Second week of the season. Oh, it's just Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Jeez.
Yeah, and don't overlook St. Louis. They're a team that's in a very, very tough division, and they have some talent.
Locke's punt fielded at the 45. Returner falls ahead to the 43. 37-yard punt. Deep in the third quarter, Vikes lead 10-0. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Minnesota leads 10-0. Minute 5 to go in quarter number 3. Time for the U.S. Bank coaching spotlight. Tonight, the focus is on head coach Mike Zimmer in his 21st NFL season. 6-year defensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals. Spent 12 years with the Dallas Cowboys. Won a Super Bowl in 1995 as a defensive backs coach. The coach spotlight is presented by U.S. Bank. All of us serving you. Raiders ball trailing 10-0. Ben Lever, what do you think of the first 3 quarters of the first preseason game?
Well, I think it's awesome. We've got guys on the offensive side of the ball over here on the bench mouthing to me that they're going to score a ton of points this year. So even the guys that are on the bench, the first and second string guys that are off, they are super excited about this offense. And you can see the excitement in Captain Munderland's his voice and his face about how he feels about this defense.
Quarterback for the Raiders is Matt McGloin, second-year Penn State. Handoff, Shamar Stephen with the stop. Rookie 7th-round pick from UConn. Remember that name. Could be one. The Vikings have 3 7th-round selections. And if you're going to wear Kevin Williams' number, you better be good. And he's one of 3 7th-round selections along with Jabari Price and Brandon Watts. They've all had really good moments at training camp. And it's good to see Stephen get into the game now. Shamar Stephen. End of the third quarter. The Vikings, thanks to a touchdown by Matt Asiata way back in the first quarter, and a 30-yard field goal by Blair Walsh, lead the Oakland Raiders 10-0. Mike Zimmer and George Edwards' defense, outstanding in the first half, still has not permitted a point. Fourth quarter action from TCF Bank Stadium shortly on the Vikings Entertainment Network.
Vikings preseason football is presented by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Minnesota Vikings. By Verizon. Now, watch local Sunday NFL games live on your smartphone with NFL Mobile, exclusively from Verizon. by NFL Ticket Exchange, powered by Ticketmaster. Buy and sell tickets at NFLTicketExchange.com. By U.S. Bank, all of us serving you.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action from the campus of the University of Minnesota. Vikings lead the Oakland Raiders 10-0. Anthony Barr, 9th overall selection in the 2014 draft, made his debut tonight. He had a half sack, and he's with Ben Lieber on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's right, PA. It's his NFL debut. Rookie out of UCLA, man. Look around you. This is the NFL. Viking jersey. How's it feel?
It's a dream come true, really, man. You know, it's my first NFL game I've actually been to my entire career. You know, so the first one I've been to, I'm in. You know, so it was a dream come true. Had an awesome time out there, and looking forward to getting better.
Well, how ironic that your first NFL game is actually in a college stadium.
Right. I didn't think that was going to be the case at first, but you know, we're gonna be great here, and excited to be playing here for the next couple of years.
Well, it's well documented about your career in college. Running back, fullback, 2 years as a linebacker, as an edge rusher. You come to the Vikings where they run more of a 4-3 over defense, and you're playing off the football. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have to face as an outside linebacker now?
I think just getting better with my eyes. You know, when I was in college, I was on the line basically the defense end, so I could see everything happening right in front of me. Didn't really have to read the running backs as much. Now that I'm behind the line of scrimmage a little more, really have to key those running backs and really read my keys better to get myself in position to make plays.
Well, you've got a few weeks till opening day, man. Best of luck to you. Keep working.
Anthony Barr, McGloin swings it out left, caught on second down for a Raiders first down at the 23. Once again, Anthony Barr finished his college career with 23.5 sacks. He had 41.5 tackles for loss, 10 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries. Pete, his first 2 years, as Ben alluded to, 2010 and 2011, he played in 24 games, started 10. He was a fullback for the UCLA Bruins. He carried the ball 15 times, ran for 1 touchdown. He caught 1 touchdown. He started 37 of his 51 career games for the Bruins, 10 as a fullback early in his career, and 27 at linebacker. He was the UCLA defensive MVP and team captain in his final year at UCLA, and he began his UCLA career once again as a fullback from San Pedro, California. Started 7 games as a sophomore. He was a blocking back, and he hauled in an 11-yard score and dove for a 1-yard rushing score. He's multifaceted.
He is, and it's no surprise that he came out of high school and started as a running back. I played with his uncle. I played with his father at Notre Dame. They were both running backs, so it's in the family. And just that making that transition to defense. I mean, you can't just take a great athlete and move him wherever you want. I think for Anthony Barr, he's wired to play defense. You watch him, and he's learning this right now. The instinct that he has at the linebacker position that he's working on, that's something that you just can't teach someone. Either they have it or they don't. And I think right now the coaching staff's pretty happy with how he's operating. I think he's going to have his challenges due to his 6'5" height to play off the ball and to take on fullbacks. But I just think as the season goes on, you'll see him more on the line of scrimmage in these 2-minute drives and nickel situations rushing the quarterback.
3rd and 8 from the Vikings 21. Vikings pitching a shutout, leading 10-0. Matt McGloin goes out of the shotgun. Flagged, false start, Raiders.
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 13. From a pride standpoint, how important is it for the Vikings to not allow a touchdown in the entire game, even though it's preseason game number 1, to think of any facet of a Vikings defense, last in the NFL last year in points allowed, second last in yardage allowed, at any stage, whether it's a mini camp 11 on 11 or a scrimmage or a preseason game, to not allow a team a touchdown is outstanding.
It is, and these guys are all going to have to go back down to camp and watch this film as a team and be an answer to how they play. So they want to keep this game a shutout.
McGloin, 3rd and 13, zips it right, incomplete. A couple of Vikings, Sean Prater, along with safety Brandon Bishop, first full year from North Carolina State, working for George Edwards' defense. There's the defensive coordinator, George Edwards, formerly a defensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills and Washington Redskins. And the Raiders are attempting a field goal. This is not Sebastian Janikowski. It's Michael Pilardi, a rookie from Tennessee. 44-yard try, left hash. Marquette King holds. Snap, high snap. King puts it down. Blocked! Blocked field goal. Forget not letting the Raiders score a touchdown. How about no points the entire game? It was blocked by Gerald Hodges. Gerald Hodges, second-year linebacker from Penn State. Oh, man. 10-zip Vikings, 12-12 to go in the game. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Gerald Hodges Just Blocked a Field Goal Entertainment Network. This drive summary is provided by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Click it or ticket.
Well, nice dig route by Cordell Patterson. He shows up on a couple plays here. And there it is, the one-on-one, the man-to-man, the pick route. Greg Jennings off the tight end of Kyle Rudolph, who here runs the scissors route, the quick out route. And look at this block up front. Man Asiata able to walk it in.
Bam, only touchdown of preseason game number 1. Gerald Hodges blocked a field goal try, and the Vikings lead 10-0. About 12 minutes to go in the game from TCF Bank Stadium on an absolutely spectacular Minneapolis night. The TV/radio booth here on KARE 11 and also FM 100.3 The Fan, your flagship station for the Vikings radio network. We look north. We are looking right at the Vikings bench. Christian Ponder at quarterback, hands the ball off to Joe Banyard, tries to grind his way to some yardage to the left side, doesn't get much. It'll be third down. Hey, you can get your 2014 Vikings yearbook complete with an exclusive story on Adrian Peterson and everything you want to know about the 2014 season, available now at VikingsYearbook.com. Third and 3. Vikings traveling left to right as we see it. So heading west to east from Williams Arena towards St. Paul. And Ponder goes out of the shotgun, 2 receivers left, 1 right. Christian, the third quarterback used by the Vikings. Tight end flexes to the backfield. Ponder back to pass. Ooh, nearly intercepted. Flag on the play. Christian got lucky there. Threw a pass to the left. Should have been intercepted.
Illegal use of hands.
By Watson.
Hands to the face. Defense. Number 96. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Wouldn't have counted anyway. But nevertheless, Christian eyeballed the receiver. Watson jumped the route. That could have been a pick 6 right there. Let's take a peek.
Yeah, it's just kind of how you've seen it his whole career. Just the ball getting out there a little bit late. The ball
eyeballed him.
Yeah, arriving right there. Gives the DB a little bit of time to come up and make a play on it. And fortunately, he threw it to a guy who's going to be a backup because Lord knows it should have been caught and returned for a touchdown. But so Ponder just, you know, you run with the number 3s. You're not out there with starters. It's a different talent level, but still, you would expect for him to come out here and make some plays. I remember back in the day when Chris Walsh would get out there with Brad Johnson, and the two of them would put on a clinic as the number 2s and playing against the number 3s, and that's what you really need to have. And for Ponder, he's just not showing it tonight. And if people want to get and jump on that right away and say that he hasn't improved, that he's not any better, but you know, there's 10 other guys out there that need to help him out too.
Ponder 3 of 8, 39 yards. Under center, offset eye left. Dominic Williams is the tailback from Wagner. Bam! Christian sacked. Tried to sell the play action, couldn't even get out of it. Taken down at the 16-yard line. Mike Zimmer, 9th head coach in Minnesota Vikings history. Most recently, defensive coordinator of an extremely well-respected Cincinnati Bengals defense. Just ask the Vikings at Cincinnati at the end of the season last year. Now, it's a season that's not going to lead the Vikings to the playoffs, but we ran into a Zimmer defense that was on its way to a home game in the postseason, from rotating 3 safeties to not worrying about losses to studs Geno Atkins and Leon Hall, to using undrafted linebacker Vincent Ray from Duke and getting big productivity out of him, including a defensive touchdown. Somebody has gotten loose for the Minnesota Vikings. It is Williams, but they're going to call it back. He was down by contact, thought he got loose, but he didn't. When we left the Queen City last year, all we could talk about on the bus going to the airport was what just hit us with this Zimmer defense. And the Vikings, again, were on their way to a 5-win, 1-tie season. But the Mike Zimmer defense rotates so many players. He just has so much security in his drafting, and no matter where you come from, he feels if he puts you in a spot, he puts you in that spot because you're good enough to win battles.
Oh, no question. And what we were amazed I think most about it is just the mileage he got out of guys that weren't necessarily first-round draft picks. You mentioned a couple of them. Vontae's perfect, ran a 5 flat.
Yeah.
At his workout day, you had Damata Pecco, who's a third, fourth-round draft pick. He was using those big bodies and developing that talent and creating a great defense with them.
8:46 to go in the first preseason game. Vikes lead 10-0. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 10-zip Vikings. Let's hear more from Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen.
I just tried to beat him with speed and he just kept going up the middle.
I couldn't see you, so I squared him up.
And that was good. That was good. I just got to one step in. Dude, it's been a while. I'm going to get it.
Adam Thielen next to Pro Bowl fullback Jerome Felton. To the left of Jerome, Xavier Rhodes. And Adam, undrafted from Minnesota State University Mankato, spent all season last year on the practice squad. McGloin play action, dump right, caught at the 35-yard line for a gain of about 5 yards, making it 2nd and 5. Vikes lead 10-0. Thielen was eligible to take part in rookie camp, given he was on the practice squad last year, second year. Opened eyes, specifically those of offensive coordinator Norv Turner, at rookie camp. Did well at organized team activities, the mandatory minicamp, had a very nice open field tackle and punt coverage. And those are the things you do to make a team.
Yeah.
You know, and you talked in the pregame on FM 100.3, The Fan and the Vikings radio network. McGloin zips left, caught, first down Raiders. You talked on the Vikings radio network about the lack of wide receiver depth for the Minnesota Vikings. You know, right now you're looking at Cordero Patterson, Greg Jennings, Jarius Wright, Jerome Simpson. After that, there's a wide open spot for a 5th receiver. I make Adam Thielen prohibitively favored to win that job.
Yeah, and you also look at Jerome Simpson and how cloudy his future is. So you may need a number 4 receiver, not just a number 5. But you're right. Once you start getting down to those numbers too, Paul, it's when special teams starts to creep in. It's when that area of the game becomes more and more important. So if you're the backup punt returner, you're the number 4, number 5 receiver going in, you have a better chance of making the squad. And I think that's one of the things I love the most about the NFL is that coaches really, they don't care where you come from, how high you were drafted. Once you're in this league, and you saw it just after 1 year in the practice squad, if you're making plays, you stand out, you stick around. The next thing you know, he'll wake up and maybe have a 7-year, 8-year, 10-year NFL career. So it's just fun to see someone like Thielen come out, play, let it all hang out, wear it on his sleeve, have fun, and make plays.
McGloin flips it ahead, caught at the 50. That's a gain of just a couple after a big play by Gerald Hodges. Speaking of the defense, one of the better players, maybe cornerback Xavier Rhodes, who's with Ben Lieber.
Thanks, BA. Yeah, Xavier, a very interesting thing happened to you on Saturday night at the scrimmage down at Mankato. You have a highlight interception, and then you get your butt chewed by Coach Zimmer. How do you explain that?
Basically, I just had to stay on top of my man, and I wasn't supposed to work so hard to make the pick. He just wanted me to make it easy on myself, but he told me go play.
Going back to last year, a little bit of a slow start for you personally. You come in later in the season, make a lot of splashy plays. Was it just about getting comfortable in the defense, or did you change something personally?
Just changed everything, get comfortable in the defense, my technique, build more confidence. As the season went on, like I said, you build more confidence and you start making plays.
Well, I've seen a ton of confidence already out of you at camp, and tonight, best of luck to you, man.
Raiders with a completion into Vikings territory, then an offensive interference call backs them up. Back to the 40-yard line. Xavier Rhodes quickly, there he is. Terrific build, tall, amazingly long arms. Rookie season, no interceptions. Xavier, as you could kind of get with that Ben Lieber interview, is a kind, soft-spoken kind of guy. Now, as well as you know the NFL, Pete, I'm not saying every cornerback has to be like Richard Sherman or have the demeanor of a Richard Sherman or a Patrick Peterson or an Antonio Cromartie. Here's McGloin firing left, nearly intercepted on 3rd down. But I think if Xavier can jump around, get his first interception, get to the end zone, I think he'll kind of pop out of a shell, pop out of a bubble, and kind of look at himself and say, okay, he's a former first-round pick. so he knows physically he belongs. But then he can look at himself and say, okay, I just picked off Tom Brady, got to the end zone from 50. Not many can do that. I belong in the NFL.
No, he certainly does. And what they liked about him was his height, his 6'1", his weight, big kid, and his, back in the day, that Tampa 2 jamming receivers, funneling in on run support. He's not going to have to worry about that as much anymore. And he's going to have to learn to cover guys one-on-one on the outside. He's going to have to get that technique down, and it's all new. It's a whole new defense and a different world really out there for those corners. And you're going to be challenged. They're going to put pressure. Zimmer's defense will put pressure on the corners, and he'll have to hang in there. So I think Xavier Rhodes is going to have a fantastic year.
Let this be known, he's one of the most important members of the Vikings defense. Fourth quarter, Vikes by 10 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 5.5 minutes to go in the first preseason game. Vikes lead 10-0. Hey, for the largest selection of new Vikings novelty items and apparel, look no farther than the Vikings locker room store. Visit the new location on the east side of Mall of America or VikingsLockerRoom.com. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen high atop TCF Bank Stadium. We are on the
offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
We are on the south sidelines behind the visiting team. Mentioned it early in the game. Head coach Mike Zimmer toured the TCF Bank Stadium situation and immediately decided that he doesn't want to be on the same sidelines where the Golden Gophers are when they play Big Ten games. Nothing against the Gophers, of course, but with games beginning at noon and potentially some later games or whatever, he wanted to be on the north sidelines because of sun and stuff like that when it starts to get a little chilly. We're behind the adversarial bench. And Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman are on the sidelines. We will handle all of your Vikings preseason games on KARE 11 and also FM 100.3 The Fan, the flagship for Minnesota Vikings football. You can also find us at Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. There's a shot of Mike Zimmer on TV.
And that's one of the unique things about this field is normally outdoor stadiums, the end zones don't face east and west because you're definitely going to have the sun in the face of one direction or the other. And the University of Minnesota here at the stadium at the bank, it is that way.
Christian sacked.
It is surprising that he would choose to be on that north end with the sun dipping lower in the south as you get later in the year. However, it will block the wind. So I don't know if that is what he's talking about. If that was his main drive or main reason to be on that side, and I couldn't think of any other reason other than to block the wind when it's cold than to have to look into the sun during the regular season.
I want to talk about Blair Walsh, Vikings kicker, and punter Jeff Locke, his roommate. The two are very, very close. We may see Jeff Locke punt here momentarily. 3rd and 17 from the 5. Ponder hands it off, and Williams is stopped at the 8. Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber joined quickly. Blair Walsh not kicking in the dome. How do you think that will work into the field goal game? Let's begin with Ben on the sidelines. We'll go to break first, and we'll come back and analyze that. There's Blair Walsh. Let's talk about him in a second. Vikes by 10, fourth quarter. Tune in to Fox Sports North all season for Vikings programming, including Vikings Connected, the Vikings new social media topic show, which debuts Sunday, September 8th, and is hosted by our partner on the field, Ben Lieber. Ben, a special team stud, like Pete Bursich when he played. Going to join the conversation here momentarily. There you see Blair Walsh talking to Mike Prefer, special teams coordinator. Blair hit a 30-yard field goal tonight. He also missed one from 53. Blair was 2 of 5 from 50 yards and beyond last year. His first season with his dear friend and his roommate, Jeff Locke, as the holder. I want to talk about that whole dynamic because field goals are obviously so important. Here's Locke's punt. And it's fielded at the 46. And the returner falls ahead to the 44. A 38-yard field goal. There's Jeff Locke. Ben Lieber joins the conversation now. How do you think the dynamic, Ben, with Blair Walsh kicking outdoors here at TCF Bank Stadium will work this season?
Well, it's going to be interesting because you look at some of his stats, and some of his best stats are played indoors in domes. So it's a controlled environment. Obviously, they spent some time this offseason coming down here, looking at the wind conditions, all the charts, all the wind direction charts and stuff like that. They're trying to really break it down scientifically. So they're putting a lot of effort into it. They understand that it is an issue. but I think they're going to overcome it. He has such a strong leg that I really don't think it's going to be that big of a factor.
Now, Jeff Locke, the rookie from UCLA last year, got off to a rough start by admission. Extremely nervous and overthinking things into the first game of the year at Detroit at Ford Field. There was a moment at home against Green Bay where Micah Hyde, a defensive back, had a long punt return. From that moment on, Jeff Locke and the punt team seemed to improve as the season went on. McGloin with a completion and a penalty on the Vikings. We'll get that out of the way.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 40, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Pete and Ben, you guys never held for kickers in the NFL, but seriously, how important is it to be in unison with your holder if you're Blair Walsh, who set NFL records in his rookie year for 10 field goals made at 50 yards and beyond, and he won a couple of games in his rookie year, beating Jacksonville, kicked the Vikings into the postseason, final game of the year at home against Green Bay. That dynamic between Walsh and Locke is very, very underrated heading into the 2014 Pete First.
No, it is important, and for a holder, he's a guy that doesn't get any credit unless something goes wrong. So the two of them did get together, and you're right, Paul, they had a nice rhythm, they had a nice thing going. And so for Blair Walsh, I think being outside, will it affect him a little bit? But he's got a couple years under his belt. I think he's mature enough to handle it. And I think that it's really not going to affect his game as much.
Let's take a look at the field goal that was missed earlier. Blair Walsh kicking to the east. There's Locke. Snaps perfect from Colin Loeffler. And there Walsh gets it from the left hash. Barely missed it. So it's not like he missed it by a mile, but nevertheless, he missed it. Flag comes in on this play as the Raiders operate on 2nd and 10. Being a special teams guy, I watch so much special teams film, Pete. What you just saw there, the snap from Loeffler to Locke, did it look like the operation went perfectly?
Illegal contact, defense, number 59, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It looked like it went off as normal, so it wasn't quite a miss hit. I mean, he had the distance on it. He just pushed it to the right a little bit. So in a case like this, I would probably blame someone like Dennis Ryan, who's in charge of preparing the balls for the game. He probably did something wrong.
Yeah, good luck with that. You ever want to go into that equipment room in Mankato again and get that supercharged coffee, you better retract that right now.
Oh, it's the best coffee in the state, my friends.
And he's the best equipment guy in the state, too. Dennis Ryan. Been with the Vikings for many, many decades. He and his staff do an extremely good job. McGloin, 1st and 10. McGloin floats left, dump, caught. Oh, ball's coughed up, flag comes in. Larry Dean with a fumble recovery or not. Flag on the play.
Looks like they're going to rule the pass incomplete, but we have a penalty in the backfield.
Guess who I think put that hit on the receiver? His name is Mike Zimmer.
The result of the play was an incomplete pass.
Okay.
We also have holding, offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
We have a linebacker named Mike Zimmer. There he is on TV. We have a head coach named Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, you have a coach named Zimmer. You got Zimmers all over the place.
Correct.
Places overflowing with Zimmers. You look at a kid like that as a rookie. You come in, it is hard enough as a rookie to come into the league and try to make a spot and try to play.
No relation, by the way.
Why? And to have the same name as a head coach, people are just draw that conclusion. I wonder if he can do a good impersonation of the head coach.
McGloin, dump over the middle, well in advance of the first down. But by the way, the Mike Zimmer, the coach and Eastern Illinois product, Mike Zimmer, the linebacker, and Illinois State product. This is starting to get weird.
It is.
Adam Zimmer.
What kind of conclusion are you trying to draw there?
I don't know. That there are a lot of Zimmers in Illinois. You're from Illinois. You would know more than me. Now, Adam Zimmer, Mike's son, is the linebackers coach for the Vikings. See, it's a family affair here. We got Mike Zimmer with his son Adam Zimmer as the linebackers coach. Norv Turner as the offensive coordinator. His son Scott Turner is the quarterbacks coach. And it about stops there.
Yeah,
but nevertheless,
offense,
it's a
number 68, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I would love to have the opportunity to sit down with both the younger Zimmer and the younger Turner, and see what it's like, because this is probably the most that they've seen their parents for quite some time, at least their dads. And then they're seeing him, when they do see him now, they're just upset and yelling at him all the time. They're being treated just like they would any other coach. So you wonder if being around the dad is as much as they missed it when they were kids, because these coaches are never around.
McGloin fires right, incomplete, out of bounds. Vikings quarterbacks this evening, a combined 14 of 26, 109 yards, 3.4 yards per attempt. Quarterbacks were sacked 6 times.
Now, from a numbers
Teddy
standpoint,
Bridgewater there. Go ahead.
From a numbers standpoint, that's disappointing right there. I mean, we're all excited to see what Castle did on the first drive, and I think Bridgewater did okay on his first drive, but
Ponder got sacked. Ponder got sacked a bunch of times. I mean, the Ponder inclusion brought that whole thing down, with all due respect. Matt Castle looked fantastic. You can't dispute that.
No, I'm not. I'm just my point is that overall it needs to get better. We have 3 quarterbacks. We have one that has NFL experience. He led the team to an 11-win season. The second one is a highly touted, highly drafted rookie. And your third guy, Christian Ponder, as we're seeing there, has played a lot in this league. He led a team to a playoff run. So Christian Ponder, we have enough experience and talent at that position that I think that number is kind of unacceptable.
3rd and 10, McGloin made a play. Matt McGloin finds Greg Jenkins, a second-year receiver from Alabama State, as we approach the 2-minute warning. And I say he made a play because I was hoping the Vikings would pitch the proverbial shutout in their first preseason game. Maybe they will. We need another Gerald Hodges block on the Vikings Entertainment Network. This is Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Come on now, pick up some Viking season tickets. Excellent home schedule. It begins with the New England Patriots and ends with the Chicago Bears. Great locations are still available, and receive priority on the tickets in the new stadium. Go get those tickets right now. Come see this improving team and visit Vikings.com. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, Greg Coleman. First preseason game, Vikings leading 10-0. Matt McGloin, 1st and 10 from the Vikings 15. McGloin fade left into the end zone, incomplete flag. It's going to be a penalty on the Vikings against Julian Posey, a second-year corner from Ohio.
Defense, number 38, 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Here's a wild card player for the Minnesota Vikings, Pete. Linval Joseph, the nose tackle acquired via free agency from the New York Giants. Biggest guy we've had play that spot since Pat Williams. How important is Linval Joseph, and what does he do well?
Well, what he does is take up space, and he is quick, and he has that kind of quickness that you need at that position. You can't just be a big guy and be a space eater. You have to be able to have good feet. You have to be able to move, quickness, leverage, and he does have all those things. And what he's going to do is make the life of Barr and of Brinkley a lot easier if he's in there playing the way that he can.
McGloin on 1st and 10 from the 1st and goal from the 10, trailing 10-0. Faced a blitzed, dumped left, got nothing, no gain, 2nd down. Linval Joseph, an elite run stuffer. Got a couple of sacks for the Giants. McGloin back to pass, dances, sprints left, 10, inside the 5, McGloin, touchdown. Shutout, done. 10-6 Vikings, no flags on the play. McGloin.
He's just a kid trying to make a play, and he does. It's just, that is what you're going to see out of the second, maybe the third team or third group. You get a nice pass rush up inside. Quarterback steps up. There's just no one there on the contain. That's usually an inside pass rusher that's letting him step up in there.
Raiders are going to attempt 2. They're not going to go for an extra point from the 15, which is a 33-yard kick for 1 point. What bugs me is the 33-yard kick can be for 1 point, yet you can kick 27-yard field goals for 3. It just philosophically, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the extra point from the 15. Yeah, McGloin, 2-point conversion, fade left, incomplete, 10-6 Vikings. 1:25 to go. Ben Lieber, if you're down there, join the conversation here for a second. You and I chatted with Norv Turner about this before the game. It's just weird that the experiment with the extra point means the ball's kicked from the 33-yard field goal, yet you can have significant plays that decide games for 3 points from like the 17 for 27-yard field goals for 3 points. Philosophically, it just doesn't make sense.
No, It really doesn't. And, Matt Burke was down here, now part of the NFL operations group. So maybe we can take our concerns to him and see if we can get something changed there as he takes a new job there at the NFL New York.
Now, he's probably the one that wanted it in the first place.
Right.
Trying to make the PAT more exciting.
Well, it's even more interesting in the game situations. Why not kick the extra point and then go for the onside kick right now and see what happens? I don't even understand going for the 2-point conversion right there if you're Oakland Raiders.
Trailing 10-6. The Vikings have 10 players right around the 45-yard line of the Raiders. Assuming there will be an onside kicker, of course there will be.
Yeah, and I think for the Raiders and for players and coaches, I think the one thing that they do not want to have, and one thing that should be eliminated, is overtime in the preseason. And it really, because it doesn't, I don't think it benefits anyone. I don't think it benefits the coaches. I don't think it benefits the players. So, the Raiders, obviously, we're not going to try to tie this game up.
Pooch kick. It's a pop-up. McKinnon catches it over the shoulder, channeling his inner Willie Mays at the 15. Goes down. The Raiders have 2 timeouts. The Vikings have 3. The Vikings will win their first preseason game. Both of you guys played extensively, too. Is there an importance in winning preseason games, Benjamin?
Well, I don't really think so. It's so much as wins and losses, but you want to come out and play clean and play sharp and you play aggressive. Sometimes you can do that and lose, and you go back to the film. You're like, man, we played well. We executed when we had to. We just didn't come out with the victory. But you just want to see you guys take everything from training camp sessions out here and play fast. And I think these guys, even though the Vikings are going to win, I think they did just that. They played fast and they're aggressive.
Ben, spectacular work tonight. Tell Greg Coleman we say hello, and I'll see you next Thursday in Mankato for the 9 to noon radio show, FM 100.3 The Fan. We will do that radio show together 9 to noon, all right? Timeout on the field. Pete, your thoughts on the Vikings' first preseason game and the importance of winning, which the team is going to do?
Well, I remember my first year coaching when Mike Tice was in his rookie campaign, and really how important that first preseason game was. And for Zimmer, this is the first time he's had a chance to be a head coach, and he's going to want it to go well, and he's going to want to win the game. And I think he also, kind of like what we saw with Buffalo last year, Paul, the preseason, where Buffalo was a team that was struggling.
Yeah.
Got a new coaching staff. They wanted to build some confidence in this team.
Blitz the heck out of the Vikings.
They blitzed the heck out of us, and we did a little bit of that in the beginning of the game. We showed some formations and some blitzes that are not preseason day one kinds of schemes.
Yep.
So, hey, it's a lot on Zimmer saying, hey, this is how I want things to go. You want to win, you're competitive, and for Zim, his first chance at a preseason game, he wants to come out and do it. He has a lot of things he needs to turn around, a lot of culture, if you will, to turn around. And I think that guys like Captain Munnerlyn, that's why they talk so much about attitude and about the way a defense plays, and carrying that from Carolina. Ben Lieber, with a great interview with him on the sidelines, allowed Munnerlyn to bring that out and say, hey, I've been part of a great defense. And you see Chad Greenway, another guy who's been around for a very, very long time. He's sick and tired of the Tampa 2 and the overlap and the catch throw tackle. He wants to get after somebody and make some sacks like he did, I think it was his second year.
Yep. Minute 6 to go. Vikes lead 10-6. Chad Greenway, there he is. South Dakota native. He has led the Vikings in tackles 6 consecutive years. That is tied with linebacker immortality Scott Studwell. Chad Greenway in November of 2011 had 22 tackles against the Oakland Raiders, second most in team history. Scott Studwell had a game with 24 tackles, most in team history. Do you believe in this defense Chad Greenway will lead the team in tackles this year? If so, he sets a Vikings record.
I really think he's going to. If he's going to, the only thing that would take him out of that is if for some reason he's not on the field on third down, and I still think he's going to be he's athletic enough even at his advanced age to get out there and make some plays. So unless they go dime and decide to take him off the field, I think he'll be in that spot again.
I waited to say this until the end of the game, until Chad Greenway definitely was out, because I didn't want to bring a negative karma convergence, but it was 2006. August of 2006, Chad Greenway's very first game as a pro after being taken like 16th from Iowa. It was in Minneapolis against the Oakland Raiders. First play of the game, Chad Greenway tears up an ACL. Cost him his entire rookie season. What an awful way to start your NFL career. Not only has he responded as a quality outside linebacker in the 4-3, but he's a better person off the field than he is on the field. He and his wife are very philanthropic. It's a pleasure to say that I've known Chad Greenway. Likewise for you, right?
Yeah, it's been great to see him mature. I mean, I remember Studwell talking about Greenway when Greenway was really going into his senior year, after his junior year at Iowa, how he liked the way he played, and that was way before he was ever in our crosshairs in the line of sight. We got lucky enough to be in the right place to draft him, and you know, it's always good to see a player take a negative experience and turn it into a positive. And I think Chad's rookie campaign, like you said, Paul, with the ACL, he was in rehab, but he was able to sit back and kind of see how this thing works, how everything operates, and he hasn't looked back since. He's been healthy ever since, and just a huge competitor and a big contributor to this Viking defense.
All right, Vikings lead 10-6, 19 seconds to go. Here's Matt McGloin, wants to be the preseason version of Captain Comeback, fires left, and it's caught at the 49. Raiders have no timeouts. 9, 8, 7. McGloin, he's going to try to chuck that thing deep one final time. Now he kills the clock, does it with 2 seconds. So we are going to have a Hail Mary to close the first preseason game. What are the chances Mike Zimmer, in assuring he wins this game, calls some of the guys with the best hands on the team and says, hey, Greg Jennings, Cordero Patterson,
no way,
Xavier Rhodes, everybody else, well, I need you to be down by the goal line to stop this thing right here.
What I do like is that he's sticking with a 4-man rush. You're not doing a 3-man rush to let McGloin run all over the pocket. So
here it is.
Hopefully he won't have all day to throw it.
Here it is, preseason game 1 on the line. McGloin back to pass, fires to the end zone, and it is incomplete. And the Minnesota Vikings have won the first preseason game 10-6. Thanks to a touchdown from Matt Asiata as the fireworks light the Minneapolis sky. Mike Zimmer begins his National Football League coaching career victoriously in beating the Oakland Raiders 10-6. Teddy Bridgewater made his debut this evening, had some good moments, led the team to a field goal. Matt Castle finished 5 of 6, 62 yards, passer rating of nearly 110. He led the Vikings to the only touchdown of the game. A 22-yard reception to Kyle Rudolph paved the way. Matt Asiata blasted it in for the only touchdown of the game. And the Vikings next take on the Arizona Cardinals a week from tomorrow. That is a 7:30 Central game. For Greg Coleman, Ben Lieber, Pete Bursich, everybody with the Vikings Entertainment Network, and everybody associated with this broadcast, I'm Paul Allen. Thank you for watching Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network.